Some brands offer you low finance, or cashback, or servicing.
Renault don't do ors. We do ands. The Renault Kadjar with 1.91% APR and €1,000 cashback and 3 years servicing, saving you thousands. Renault, the brand with the ands. Visit your local Renault dealer. Finance is made under a hire purchase agreement. Terms and conditions apply. Deposit required. Subject to lending criteria. See Renault.ie.
Listening to Coffee with Kenobi, you are, with Dan Z and Corey Clubb, the podcast you're looking for. This is. Yes.
For an entire generation, people have experienced Star Wars the only way it's been possible, on the TV screen. But if you've only seen it this way, you haven't seen it at all.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
We've been waiting for you.
The force is strong here, even stronger than the coffee.
Welcome to Coffee with Kenobi. Here are your hosts, Dan Z and Corey Clubb.
Hello, this is Dan Z, and welcome to show number 35 of Coffee with Kenobi, a Star Wars podcast that analyzes our favorite saga in a whole new way. With me is my good friend and co-host, Corey Clubb.
Hello, everybody. Don't forget to join us at Celebration Anaheim for our appearance on the podcasting stage in room 208A from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. as we bring Coffee with Kenobi in a whole new way. We can't wait to see everyone there. We have a lot of great merchandise to give away, as well as very special guests who will join us on the podcasting stage. Be on the lookout for our continuing Celebration coverage as we have a special show with Len Testa of TouringPlans.com and Walt Disney World Today, and Jim Hill of Jim Hill Media. These Disney insiders share Disneyland tips as well as info on the Anaheim Convention Center and their insights into the future of Star Wars in the theme parks.
In today's show, Amy Ratcliffe joins us as we discuss our topic for show number 35, Celebration Anaheim. We discuss the nuance of the Anaheim Convention Center, celebration tips and memories, and much more. We'll also discuss our Celebration podcasting stage announcements, Celebration merchandise, and have your next espresso shot with the Bearded Trio featuring Rob Wainfer. We will also introduce our topic for show number 36.
And now, let's see what's brewing in the Star Wars universe this week.
Oh, wait. This is interesting.
You found something.
I'm about to let everyone in on the secret.
Our first news story is pretty fun. We've obviously we're talking about the Celebration podcasting stage, and we finally are able to announce our guest. It is John Morton, Dak himself from The Empire Strikes Back. Dak was a great guest we had on for a coffee chat a while ago. Just someone that stuck with us, who we had admired and just really gravitated towards. And then, in an amazing twist of events, he reached out to us and said, "Hey, I'm actually going to be on a panel shortly after you guys. Do you have room for me to come hang out with you guys?" And we're like, yeah, do you want to be on the stage with us? And he said yes. And what did we do, Corey?
Yeah, we just said yes because it's awesome. I think it's such a great guest to have on their show. We're still kind of building our schedule a little bit, and he reached out to us, like you said, and we were thrilled. We were just kind of to the moon, man. I think we're so excited to have him on because he's got some great insights, great stories to tell as well, and definitely has a passion for Star Wars.
Plus, he's Dak.
He's Dak, yes.
Yeah, he flew on the Battle of Hoth, and now he's going to fly across the Coffee with Kenobi podcasting stage.
That's great. I like that.
Yeah, so he's going to join us for a little bit before he has to go to his panel, which will be a lot of fun as well. So we are very, very excited and very blessed to have him.
Our next news story, again, has to do with some of the stuff we're kind of gearing up for Celebration Anaheim. We recently have ordered numerous trading cards. I know Dan and I have been playing the trading card app game, and we got kind of inspired by that to hand out business cards that are trading cards to folks. We're giving away 150 to the first people inside the door to come see us live on the podcasting stage. We're excited for that. We've got some other awesome prizes we've been kind of mulling about for a long time and really trying to put the pieces together. And lo and behold, we will finally have exclusively our newest sponsor, Norse Legion, has some awesome stuff, man. Such great stuff. And they reached out to us and we're like, hey, why don't you guys, we want to give some stuff away and, promote some of our stuff. We're like, Yeah, definitely. That'd be awesome. So tell us a little about that.
Yeah, Kevin Lyle, who was on our Rebels Reactions recently when we talked about the finale of season 1 of Rebels. Yeah. They're going to give away 5 rings, and Kevin's going to be there himself personally. And if you haven't checked out the amazing stuff at Norse Legion yet, you can check the link on our website to look at it. They've got Pandora stuff for bracelets. They've got necklaces. They've got rings. They've got all kinds of amazing things there. And they're going to be in booth 1103 on the convention floor for all 4 days. Kevin's going to be there personally. He's going to give away 5 rings to people who come to see us on the Coffee with Kenobi.
5 rings to bring them all, right?
That's right. And in the sunniness, bind us together to talk about Star Wars, which is really, really cool. I want to go back to the trading cards.
Yeah.
This is something we talked about, and I don't even remember if it was you or me that said, hey, let's make them look like the vintage cards.
It was me.
Was it?
It was. But we worked together, and it's
we do.
It was a team effort.
We tweet. It would be fun if people could see the process, because one of us will have an idea, and then we'll just send pictures back.
Oh,
and forth.
The text, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so much fun for me to see the amazing things that Corey comes up with. It was important to me to have the trading cards. I think we were inspired by Entertainment Weekly showing
The Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens character reveal, which we'll talk about later on the show. So they look gorgeous. The first 150 people are guaranteed to get one, and they're awesome one-of-a-kind collectibles because this is going to be so much fun. We cannot wait to see everybody. This is pretty much the last recording we're going to have before Celebration. So again, please join us because we cannot wait to see you face-to-face and share our love of Star Wars with all of you. So lost in the kerfuffle of all the Star Wars news and putting out podcasts, and we've got a lot more shows coming out. We've got shirts more exclusively now. You go through TeePublic, and so far we've got 4 published designs. We've got our original logo. We've got our Celebration Anaheim exclusive T-shirts, which has the Rebels logo as well as the Imperial Cog on the mug. And then Corey came up with these 2 vintage Coffee with Kenobi designs. Corey, tell us about those.
Yeah, I know, like we talked about earlier, we go through numerous different designs, and a lot of them got thrown away, and there's no way we don't use them for some reason. But I always hang on to stuff like that and just kind of work on them here and there, and they might pop up here and there later. And of course, we came up with shirts, and we were able to get on TeePublic and basically create our own store and pump out some more different designs. And me being just kind of wanting to play with some more stuff, I put together some more fun, different kind of vintage looking coffee shop type shirts. I'm a little biased for the blue one. I think it's kind of cool. Like I said, blue. There's multiple colors you can get. They got tons of different colors. Whatever color you decide is up to you. But the blue one with the Death Star back there and the X-wing and the TIE fighter flying by. Yeah, I'm excited to see it look like at the end product.
Well, I think I'm partial to the one that we defaulted it to green, but as you said, there are many different color options with just the X-wings where it says fresh brewed. Those are pretty fun. We've sold a lot of those. The one we sold the most of is, of course, our original logo. And the number one question we're getting is, okay, these are awesome. Where's the orange?
Yeah. Unfortunately, TeePublic doesn't have an orange at this moment. We've kind of contacted them and asked them, and they're working on the details, I think, and hopefully getting that up to speed. Yeah, the orange ones that came out, I think, was it last year? We had a running for a T-shirt promotion that we did with orange ones. And we sold like 40 of those. So there's 40 folks out there to have the orange T-shirts, and you're more than welcome to get any color you want, whatever floats your boat as far as any color. I mean, I might get another one too, is with a different color, but I'm partial to the orange one, so I don't know.
I like the orange. I think they look nice in red. They look nice in green. I'm hoping that when
brown,
Christmas
coffee
rolls
brown,
around, we'll have our Christmas with Kenobi logo up.
That's right, yeah.
It's also worth noting that besides the T-shirt, you can get it as a tank top, a crew neck, a hoodie, and kids. And oddly enough, you can get the orange Coffee with Kenobi T-shirt in kids. So I think I'm going to get one for my little guy. But pretty fun stuff. We got a lot of fun things going on, and it's great to share your past knowledge and anything you can do to help us get the word out, whether it's wearing a T-shirt, coming to see us at Celebration, writing a review on iTunes, listening to our show. And we appreciate it all so much because it helps us keep the conversation going with so many wonderful, wonderful Star Wars fans. We're very, very happy and fortunate to be able to share this with all of you and appreciate and look forward to seeing what's to come.
Our next news story, we just want to kind of remind folks out there that there's a pretty big podcast get-together happening at Star Wars Anaheim. A lot of podcast friends will be there. We're looking forward to that, meeting all of them, and getting to meet these folks that we've been hanging out with us for so long online. So, Dan, tell us some of the details, kind of how to get together and where to meet up.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about, there's so many podcasts. It's just easier for everybody to get together instead of having a bunch of smaller get-togethers. So we're talking about Full Sith, help get the ball rolling, us, Assembly of Geeks, Marvin Dog Media is going to be there, the Cantina Cast, the Wolf Pack, Star Wars Report, Skywalking Through Neverland, the Force Cast. So many. Tashi Station, Radio Free Tatooine. So many awesome podcasts are going to be there.
And it's still growing, yeah.
Yeah, and it's Thursday, April 16th from 6:30 to 8 Pacific Time at the Mix Lounge at Anaheim Hilton. It's 777 West Convention Way. There's a Facebook meetup for it. We'll have a link to it in our show notes. You can reach out and ask us about it. But we're looking forward to meeting people. We'll see a lot of people at Celebration, and it's going to be hard because there's so many, but we'll make sure to keep our eyes open for all of you. And I'm excited to meet all these different incredible podcasts that I'm such a fan of. So pretty cool for me, too, to be able to meet people I've been looking up to.
Well, I think it's cool, too. Like we talked earlier, we get to meet Joa and Amy Ratcliffe recently in the Indiana Comic Con, and that was a highlight for us. It was so much fun because it was just nice to see these people we've been following online, these rock stars of Twitter and Facebook and all of our favorite podcasts. It just seems we interact with them all the time, all day long, and to see them face to face and kind of get to know them a little more and shake their hand and just have fun and just explore this love of Star Wars and fandom. So very exciting, lots of fun. Be sure to check it out.
Greg Fields is the director of Hero Ministries and has an exciting event planned for Celebration Anaheim. We're happy to have a cup of coffee with Greg and to discuss this event. Welcome, Greg.
Thank you.
Tell us, if you would, about how the worship event for Anaheim, Celebration Anaheim, came about.
We started this for Celebration 6, actually. My brother and I attended Celebration 5 and realized there was just nothing available for us with the convention center being located where it was. There were no churches anywhere around for us to get off site without a car. When we decided to go to Celebration 6, I figured I would reach out to a few people and see what I could pull together. And after reaching out to several people, we were able to pull a nice group together, and we were able to host a service at Celebration 6. And that was kind of the birth of everything. At the end of that service, everybody was like, oh, you have to come back. You have to come to the next celebration. So when they announced Celebration Anaheim, we decided that we would go ahead and give it another go. And this is going to be our second event for Anaheim. And we're hoping that we can have as great of an event this time as we did the last time.
That's very cool. And, we were talking, talk about Anaheim almost every day, I think, now. And it seems like there's such large events going on. People are so excited for things going on. And how can, they be involved, and how can they participate and get in touch with you guys at the event to come check it out?
Best way to find out what we're doing and where we are is follow us on Twitter. We're at Hero Ministries 1, the number 1. We will be tweeting throughout the 4 days of the con kind of where we're located. We don't have a fan table. We weren't able to get one this time, but we will. Our event will be held in the Hilton Anaheim at 8 a.m. in the Huntington Room, which is on the 4th floor. During the celebration, we will be kind of roaming the halls. We'll be in panels. We'll be going to standing in lines, the normal con attendee stuff. And we will be handing out our exclusive on the road as we go. We are looking for volunteers right now to help us hand out the exclusive that we have. We have 5,000 5x7 postcard prints, original art done by a friend of mine, Joshua Stolt. He did the art for us, and we've got these professional postcard prints that we're going to be passing out throughout the convention. So we are looking for people, if people are interested in meeting up with us every morning, passing out, getting a handful of flyers and kind of handing them out as they go throughout the convention during the day. So they are completely free.
Which is a real blessing. And so you're drawn to Star Wars, and what makes an event like Celebration so perfect for fostering worship?
I personally have been a Christian since I was a kid, and I've always been a Star Wars fan. And growing up, the geek culture was always looked down on in the way the church that I was raised in. It was always a negative thing, and you didn't want to associate with the geeks. And I was always a geek, so it didn't work very well for me. And as I got older, kind of realized we're looking at this wrong, and that stereotype of the geeks don't like the Christians and the Christians don't like the geeks, that doesn't have to exist, because there are many Christians in the geek community and there's many geeks in the Christian community. Why can't we just get along? And that was kind of my whole thing on it. And so we decided, you know what, this is a great location. There are people there that are interested, and whether they are, we're very open. Trying to think how we're not exclusive. So, I know for the last one we had some Jewish people there. I know we had a Muslim there. We had some Catholics there. We're not exclusive. We are there to, come together as a community and, as Star Wars fans, as geeks, but also as Christ followers, to, have a great time together and to associate with things that we can meet on the same page with.
Most certainly. And so the main event is Sunday before the convention starts. Can you tell us about where that is and how people can find it so they can participate? And I believe there's some fun things going on with T-shirts as well.
Yes, we are selling T-shirts to raise money. That's actually our fundraiser right now. All of the proceeds for the T-shirts go towards the cost of the event. The entire event, we obviously have to pay for the rental of the room and the equipment that we need and the advertising. So the T-shirt sales, 100% of that goes towards the cost of the event. The T-shirt itself is a image. It's a picture, original art done by Matthew Silber, who's a friend of mine. It is a picture of BB-8. So if you've seen the episode 7 teaser trailer, you know who that is. But it's an image of BB-8 on the front, and we are selling those T-shirts. They're $20 a shirt. You can find them on our website, www.heroministries.org. We will also have some on Sunday morning at our event. We'll have some for sale there as well. So we can't sell them in the convention center, but we can sell them at the event. So if you're interested in picking one of those up, we'd love to get one in your hands. Also, you can check the website. There was a second part of that question that I
where is the event?
We are located in the Huntington Room at the Hilton Anaheim, so we are actually attached to the convention center. There's a walkway that goes from the convention center to the Hilton. I know a lot of people are staying in the Hilton or the Marriott just to stay close, so we're very close to the convention center. It is in the Huntington Room, which is meeting rooms on the 4th floor. So if you come in the main entrance, just ask for the Huntington meeting rooms, and they'll direct you up to the 4th floor to the right area. We'll have a table out front, so people, they'll know we're there when they get close. And we will be starting at 8 a.m. on Sunday the 19th, and we will be wrapping up by 9:30. We're not going to hold anybody past 9:30 because we know the doors to the convention open at 10, and we want everybody to have time to get over there and get into line to get into the convention center when it opens.
Very cool. You guys started a definitely important organization here. I'm interested to know, too, as Anaheim kind of comes and goes, what else do you guys have kind of in your scope a little bit for the rest of 2015 and Hero Ministries?
We are looking right now at, I'm actually local to Pittsburgh, and Wizard World is actually coming to Pittsburgh this year, and we're looking at potentially hosting an event at Wizard World. It's in September, so we've got a lot of things to pull together before that happens. But, our goal is to host these events at the larger conventions that there's not something at. And there are other groups. We're actually partners right now for Anaheim with a group called Fans for Christ, which is another group that does a similar, they host worship services and at Dragon Con and other smaller cons. So we're working with them as well. But our goal is to get to cons that we're able to get to that just don't have anything like this available. And so we're hoping to be at Wizard World Pittsburgh this year.
Wow, it's pretty extensive, pretty exciting. And Steve Glosson is part of this too, isn't he?
Steve Glosson was our main speaker at Celebration 6, and unfortunately he wasn't able to make it to Celebration Anaheim, so we weren't able to bring him on board for this one. But if we have the opportunity to work with him again, we'll definitely reach out to him. So he was a huge help to us in Orlando in 2012.
Sure, good guy, very very charismatic.
Yeah, good friend of mine too. So.
Oh, wonderful. Well, tell him we said hello. And before we let you go, Greg, we certainly can't have you on without asking you our 5 questions we ask all of our guests at Coffee with Kenobi to sort of show the commonality we have as fans of the saga. So, first question we have for you is...
studied.
Oh, I think you're ready. Sounds like you're ready. What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
I would have to go with probably A New Hope. And I think it can change depending on the mood, but I think A New Hope, just because that was the beginning for me. That's the one that I go back to the most often. So, and definitely the first.
Good deal. Your favorite Star Wars character?
Favorite Star Wars character? That's a hard one. I would probably, and this is an odd answer, because if you had asked me this question before the Clone Wars aired on television, I would tell you my least favorite character was Anakin Skywalker. I think after the Clone Wars aired, probably Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, I could see that.
He was not a likable character until the Clone Wars, and I'm by no means am I a prequel hater. I'm an apologist for the prequels, but. Yeah, Anakin was definitely not. I was not a fan, and until the Clone Wars. So I think that I'd have to go with Anakin.
Clone Wars did so much for the Star Wars saga. It made so many of those characters even more likable and personable. So I think that's well said. What is your favorite line of dialogue or film moment?
I have to go with Yoda. Do or do not. There is no try.
Classic line. That's very good. So, Greg, if you collect, what is your favorite collectible that you own?
I don't collect much. I know for a while I did, and then had to go through a purge and clear some things out. And since then, I think probably the most of what I collect is autographs. And I would say that probably my Carrie Fisher autograph is something that's definitely high on my list.
That's pretty
Hoping
awesome.
to get Mark Hamill in Anaheim.
Oh my goodness,
go.
yes. Yeah, I know. That would be amazing.
Yeah, we had a chance to take a photograph with her recently, and it was a lot of fun. She's really great.
Yeah, I saw that that you guys were in Indiana.
Yes.
My brother was actually there as well. I wasn't able to make it to that one.
Oh, really? Small world.
Yes.
So Greg, if what particular messages or themes about the Star Wars saga resonate or speak to you?
The whole theme of trying to think of the word redemption.
Yes.
The redemption of Anakin through the original trilogy, and it can even tie into Luke. He was just lost and had nothing, and all he wanted to do was get away, and he was able to and find himself and was able to become who he needed to be. So, just that trail of redemption can go for so many characters throughout the entire saga.
Well said, and I think that's one of the things that Corey and I love so much about Star Wars. We're Christians as well, so there's just so much spirituality to the saga that we love. Redemption is clearly a very important part of that, and so we appreciate your answers and are just honored that you would reach out to us. And we're glad that you told us about this because it's so very important. How can people get in touch with you if they want to ask you a question or just say hello?
My email address is Greg, Greg, at heroministries.org. You can always check us out on our website. It's heroministries.org. Twitter is at Hero Ministries 1, and then we're also on Facebook, and that's just Hero Ministries. So we're kind of out there as much as we can be, and if you want to get in touch with us, those are the best ways to.
So definitely, if you're at Celebration Anaheim or in the area, and you want to join Star Wars fans who just want to praise and worship and just have a wonderful time together with good people, be sure to join us Sunday morning at the Hilton. You said, correct?
Yes, the Hilton. It's attached to the convention center.
Very good. Well, thank you so much, Greg, for being a guest on Coffee with Kenobi, and have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to come on.
And now, your espresso shot with the Bearded Trio.
Hi everybody, Rob Wainford here from the Bearded Trio, bringing your latest espresso shot with the Bearded Trio. So let's get straight into the news. So let's start with some good news, and as I record this, it's been 2 days since Harrison Ford was released from hospital, so good news, and good to see that the Indiana Jones star is definitely on the mend after his plane crash. But there's a news story going around that an eyewitness actually saw Harrison Ford leaving the hospital, and not long after this went to Steven Spielberg's house. The eyewitness said Harrison was driving his Tesla and seemed to be in good spirits. He was wearing a hat, so there weren't any visible signs of wounds on his head. The eyewitness goes on to say he was by himself but able to drive his car normally. He arrived at Steven Spielberg's house in the late afternoon and went straight to the gates. Now here comes the creepy bit. Obviously, the eyewitness seemed to just park outside Steven Spielberg's house because he said he was there for many hours and stayed all through the evening and went home after 10 p.m. So clearly, the creepy bit here is the eyewitness just parking, following Harrison Ford, and parking outside Steven Spielberg's house all evening just to see what Harrison Ford is up to. Kind of creepy, but the flip side of the coin, you wonder why Harrison Ford went straight to Steven Spielberg's house. I know he's a good friend, they're good friends, but maybe, you never know. He went to Steven Spielberg's house and said, I've got to get back to doing indie. I've got the adrenaline bug again. You never know. Clutching at straws. But there we go. Harrison Ford went straight to Steven Spielberg's house after being released. It's been reported that Steven Spielberg is to return to science fiction and direct a movie based on a book by Ernest Cline. And the name of the book is Ready Player One, and as you can guess, it kind of takes place in a virtual computer world. Now, the other big news that came with that story is that Steven Spielberg will be returning to Warner Brothers after 14 years. The last they did together was AI, Artificial Intelligence, way back in 2001. And now Greg Silverman of Warner Brothers said, "We are thrilled to welcome Steven back to Warner Brothers. We had an historic series of collaborations in the 80s and 90s, and I've wanted to bring him back for years." So just going back to the book, just to tell you about it, the book takes place in 2044 and follows the story of a virtual reality game creator who offers up his entire company to the best player who can find an Easter egg in one of his many virtual worlds via a game called Oasis. So there we go. Steven Spielberg at this moment in time is down to direct this. Now, don't be surprised if this changes to producer or executive producer, because this has happened quite a bit in the past with Steven Spielberg being announced as a director. So don't hold your breath, but at this moment in time, it does look like he is down to direct, and I hope he does, because I think the book Ready Player One and Steven Spielberg go together. I think it will be an excellent match. So a little bit of sad news. It seems that John Williams is not going to be scoring the Steven Spielberg directed Bridge of Spies, which stars Tom Hanks. Now, the Bearded Trio previously reported that Steven Spielberg and John Williams were to team up once more for the spy thriller, which was previously called St. James' Place. Now, DreamWorks announced the news and confirmed the sad news. The scoring duty will fall to Thomas Newman. Williams was unable to work on the film due to what DreamWorks describe as a minor health issue. Now, it seems the original plan was then to have John Williams on board, as the original news came from John Williams' agency themselves. So it's sad news, but I hope, that, and I'm sure you'll join me in wishing John Williams the best of health, and I hope that he's already back up to 100%. So imagine popping into your local comic book store to buy the latest Marvel Star Wars comics. And who should be in there is none other than the creator of Star Wars himself, George Lucas. Well, that is exactly what happened at Midtown Comics in Times Square. Someone who works at the comic book store actually said he came in, being George Lucas, and was browsing the store looking at all the Star Wars stuff. He was only in them for about 15 minutes. His driver was waiting outside. Fans were pretty excited to see him, and he signed a comic book. He was saying that he hadn't actually read any of the new Star Wars comics. So he actually bought 3 of the new Marvel Star Wars comics. Now, I fully understand why he was hunting these down, because they are awesome. But what I don't understand is how the creator of Star Wars, George Lucas, is not being sent complimentary editions of Marvel Star Wars comics, unless he was trying to hunt down the variant covers. So I find that very confusing. But what an awesome thing to have happened to some of the fans there, to actually walk into a comic book store and actually see George Lucas there, just looking at all the Star Wars stuff. What a great story that is. Well, that wraps up another Espresso Shot with the Bearded Trio. Thank you for listening. If you'd like to contact me, please email me, rob@thebeardedtrio.com. You can also follow The Bearded Trio on Facebook and Twitter as well. So that's it from me. Thank you for listening. I will now hand you back to Corey and Dan.
Han Solo, Rebel Soldier, Lando Calrissian, and Bespin Guard, each sold separately. From Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back collection, new from Kenner.
Looking? Found someone you have, I would say,
Your lightsabers will make a fine addition to my collection.
So, Dan, one of the biggest things that you and I were kind of looking forward to was the Star Wars Celebration Anaheim merchandise. And recently, today, as of this recording, they released some of the different T-shirt items and some of the different apparel that was going to be available at the show. And we were very excited about this because there's like 30 different shirts here the showing on the website on StarWars.com. And I don't know, there's so many awesome ones here. I don't know if I can choose. Ooh, I just saw the Rebels one.
Which one is that?
Let's break it down here a little bit. So they have, look, we've talked about the artwork before. They had the posters come out of kind of Celebration Anaheim, the theme. The artwork, some of those T-shirts are addressed to that, that swoosh of light and the very neon look.
It's got the original logo, and it's got the Rebels alternate logo too.
That's the one was checking out, the Rebels. I didn't realize that was the Rebels one. I like that one. That was cool.
If you click on the pictures, then it just blows it up, and you can just arrow through and look at them all huge, of course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very cool.
I
know it's so hard.
Yeah, this is I feel like I do when I find out new things were coming out. I'm like, yes, I'm so excited. I'm like, oh no, I had to plant a money tree. And we're gonna have to get like an extra suitcase just to bring home all the merchandise.
Yes.
I mean, seriously. So you mentioned those 3. Then there's 3 that are a close-up of Vader, a close-up of Luke, and then a close-up of Hera, which I'm thrilled to Hera t-shirt because it's a gorgeous t-shirt. But seems sort of. I wonder why they picked her to go along with Luke and Vader.
She's popular. She's awesome.
Yeah, she's crazy popular as well. She should be. Hey, heck, buy one of those. Maybe Vanessa Marshall will sign one for you.
Hey, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool. Then we got there's one somewhat tacky. You left your hand on Bespin. You'll leave your heart here in San Francisco, and it's got an X-wing going by the Golden Gate Bridge, which is clever.
It's clever.
Yeah. A little bit disturbing. Now there's that Hollywood Ad Walker Hall of Fame. There's the San Diego one with Carrie Fisher. There's the Star Wars logo. There's a bunch. We won't go through every single one, but which ones jump out at you that you think you would be tempted? Because I mean, are you going to go crazy with the merchandise?
I'm not going to go crazy. I have a budget in mind, but you know, I would hope that I get my hands on one of these T-shirts because I want to get something that's official from the exclusive. Yeah, so it's like it's something that I was there. I got the T-shirt, literally. Yeah. So the hair one's really awesome. I eyeballed that one a little bit. I do like the white ones with has Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I like these little doodles.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
They remind me of the Jeffrey Brown type style. They're not Jeffrey Brown, but they're like little doodles of cartoons of the characters. They look
like
really fun.
Posters, yeah,
they look really cool.
That's the main picture on the link.
Right. Yeah, that's the one link. That's when I first saw. I was like, oh, those are cool because definitely caught my interest. Yeah, the other one, I do kind of like the Rebel Alliance one. Property of Rebel Alliance.
And the cool. Empire one. Yeah, I like those.
Those are kind of cool too, but.
Kind of like a high school gym.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Oh yeah, these all look cool. I did kind of like the Millennium Falcon. It was like a kind of like a workman shirt or like a
like a workman shirt, like a bowling shirt.
Yeah, it was kind of like a bowling shirt. It had
service and repair.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a Boss sweatshirt and a Stormtrooper one. They have flip flops.
Yes.
With the Celebration logo, which those are pretty cool.
Those are cool.
Some of the stuff you have to kind of see. What were you going to say?
Those are perfect for California, flipping around.
Yeah. The very last picture looks like black. I don't know what that is.
The last one?
Yeah, what is that?
It's
like
there's Rebel symbols. It's those are flip flops as well.
Those are flip flops as well.
Yeah. See the little holes for the webby things.
Oh yeah. Okay, I see that. It's not as clear.
Gotta use your imagination.
Oh, is that what that is? The only other one that I the first one that really grabbed my mind besides the main logo was, of course, you can probably guess, can't you?
And I tweeted you this, or tweeted you, I texted you today about it's Luke and Hamlet.
Alas, poor Stormtrooper, I knew ye not.
Yeah.
As it's from Ian Dester's William Shakespeare Star Wars, so...
Yeah, I thought for sure you would enjoy that. But you know what? It's interesting when I'm looking at this now. It kind of looks like a clone trooper helmet.
You think so? I think it's just the design that they've chosen for that particular. Pretty fun.
You could Ian design that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. We're hoping to chat with Ian, and we've got lots of fun things. By the time you've heard this, a lot of fun things will have been discovered about me hanging out with Ian and work with him a little bit on the prequel Star Wars Shakespeare books. But more on that very soon. The Star Wars Topps digital card app has taken fandom by storm. And we have the digital art director, Neil Clyde, with us to talk more about his awesome fan experience. Welcome, Neil.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks for being on. Did I pronounce your last name correctly?
Clyde. Yep. I'm
perfect.
Good.
I'm glad. I'm an English teacher. Naming is important and pronunciation is very important. So I'm glad to hear that. And as we talked before the show started, when you reached out to us and told us about the Star Wars Topps digital cards app, I was excited, but I was skeptical because I didn't know how it would work. And now I think it's safe to say that after a month, my wife probably wishes that I never saw it. Because I think I check it more than I check Facebook and Twitter. How did the idea for the Star Wars Card Trader app come about?
So Topps Digital has been doing what we call our casual fantasy sports games on mobile for the past several years, since 2012. We have 3 games, one for baseball, football, and soccer, respectively called Bunt, Huddle, and Kick. And basically what happens in those apps are fans can come in and open packs of cards and collect various player cards, which they can then use to play a game throughout the season. So as the player does well over the season, so do the cards. And we were trying to figure out, okay, we've sort of conquered sports, but Topps has a rich breadth of licensing, of IP, and which of our IP would be great to, which of our partners would be great to do a game with as well, to present trading cards that are not sports cards, but really entertainment cards. And it was kind of a no-brainer. We looked around and said, well, Star Wars has a huge collector base. We can't really imagine doing a digital trading, digital collecting trading card app that is not Star Wars. If you look back, we've been doing Star Wars cards since 1977, and when you think of Star Wars collectibles, besides the action figures and the lunch boxes and the T-shirts, cards are really right up there. And so we knew that there was a very interested, very, very excited fan community out there within the Star Wars universe that would really kind of gather together and want to collect these cards, trade these cards, really re-experience the nostalgia of the original Star Wars trading movie picture cards.
When Dan first brought this to my attention, and I got your email, he's always kind of talked about how much he was in love with the original trading cards from Topps, like you said, back in the day. So I never grew up with that. I'm a little younger than Dan, so I couldn't see the twinkle in his eye about this, and so I was like, I'll just give it a shot, and see what's going on. So I started, collecting stuff and getting going on the stuff, and I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Then all of a sudden, I was getting inserts and fun cards and some of my favorite characters. And I was like, okay, I'm on board with this. And like Dan said, I'm checking it every day, get my daily credits and things like that. So maybe you can break down a little bit more in detail than I did, fanboyed about it. But how does the app work for folks, and how can they get involved?
Sure. And I'm glad that you mentioned sort of like the little bit of an age divide, because one of the larger questions we do have are, are these just sort of pictures on your phone? What about them makes them collectibles? And when you think about it, there is kind of a nice opportunity to grab fans of all ages, because you have folks like myself. I was collecting those Star Wars cards back in the day, and it's nice to re-experience that on a digital level, but not have to kind of go to eBay or really track them down. They're just presented in my pocket on my phone. I can carry them around with myself. And when I was a kid, the idea was to go down to the corner and gather your friends and have a little swap meet. And this is really a global version of that. So you can get up at any time and trade with Star Wars fans anywhere around the world. So we thought that was really kind of a nice way to bring our card community together. On the other, for more modern fans, folks who weren't collecting the cards back in the day, if you look at it, pretty much everybody's got a device in their pocket or is carrying one around, an iPhone, a tablet, and most people live on their phones. And you see a kind of a dearth of digital trading card games out there, whether it's something like Hearthstone or what have you. And it really kind of made sense for Topps, which is at the forefront of trading cards, to be in that space. So what's nice about it is that fans of all ages can really come into our app, and what you do is you create yourself a little profile and you join the community, and you get a certain amount of credits when you come in. Right now, I believe it's 25,000 free credits a day, and you can use those credits to then enter our cantina and purchase packs of cards. Those cards create sets. Those sets earn awards. The awards earn you more credits, and the cycle begins again. But what's wonderful about it is that we're presenting cards that we don't print anymore, that you can't really see, like I said, unless you go to eBay back from 1977 and on. But we're also presenting completely original, all new designs that have never been seen before in Star Wars physical cards, things that you will never see created as a physical card. So if you want to complete your global Star Wars collection, the way to do that is to come into the app. And as well, we do have a very vibrant community, both within the app and on social media of active traders. I know you guys are two of them. And there's something about really reaching out and being part of this, what I like to call, the global neighborhood of Star Wars, where, sometimes you can't make it to a convention, or you can't make it down to the corner or see your friends all the time. But through Star Wars Card Trader, they're available at any time to effect a trade and to talk Star Wars.
Very true. And I was curious too, You mentioned some of the designs, and they're gorgeous designs. They're just so much fun. Absolutely. Is it something where you took some of the old cards and just sort of scanned them, or how did that process happen?
So the card designer for Star Wars Card Trader, the actual graphic designer, his name is Matt Petz, and he and I work together and really sit down and research and think about what the road, what our designs are going to be based on the roadmap that Tops Ian and Top Steve create. They're the producers of the app, and the four of us really lock ourselves in a room. Sometimes we just sit down with cards all over the table and we say, okay, we love the Star Wars Rebels cards that Tops has put out back in February. Mm-hmm. They're really nice cards. Why don't we just represent them in the app? And there's hopefully opportunity down the road to do more of those, as season 2 starts, as we get to a season 3, to be able to roll out more and more of the Rebels cards that you'll see in stores at Target or at Walmart. But on the other hand, there are things that we, as not just as Star Wars fans, but as fans of the world, and design and culture, want to present these characters that we love in new and different ways, and you'll start to see a lot of that. Some of the cards that we roll out, like for instance, Night Brothers, which is one of our popular cards. We really wanted this eerie, very dramatic look to it, and presenting with Dathomir in the background, and the characters in the foreground. And it really just allows us to let our kind of design minds run wild and bring the characters on, in new and different directions. A lot of the stuff will be is and will be influenced by Topps rich visual history. One of the sets that we have in the app is a set of 8 Force Awakens cards from Star Wars Force Awakens Episode 7 that were originally created by J.J. Abrams and Bad Robot and released as a way of announcing the character names, a couple of the character names. And we've recreated those painstakingly and placed them into the app, but they're inspired by the original 1977 Series 1 and 2 top Star Wars cards. So a lot of the times we'll be inspired by things like that. Our base cards are actually inspired a little bit by the original vintage Kenner action figure packaging. And we'll really kind of look at the width and breadth of the Star Wars collectible mythology, as well as what's sort of out there, what's been printed and what's been presented in the past, and try to use a lot of that to influence and inspire what we're bringing to the card sheet.
Yeah, and it's obviously working out beautifully. And I was curious, you mentioned trading, and I went all rogue on my co-host Corey. I was trying so desperately to get to the Snowspeeder today that I even offered someone the opportunity to co-host the show with me to give me a Snowspeeder, and it didn't work. And it serves me right. Of course, just for the record, everyone, I was going to be Corey and whoever traded me the Snowspeeder, so I wasn't going to get rid of my my best buddy over here, of course. So what kind of tips do you have for people who are trading and trying to get credits?
So my greatest tip and warning is make sure you look at every trade that comes your way. When you're moving fast, and if you get a lot of trades, sometimes people can slip things past you, and you'll say, "Oh, I can't believe I traded that." As well, if you're trading away a card that's part of a set, for instance, if you're trading away a Hoth card, don't trade it away until you collect them all, because you might get a cool award at the end if you have all of them in your card sheet. Wait until a set is finished and complete and you have them. Hopefully, reap the rewards and then use them as, trading material from then on. Unless, of course, you love the cards and you want to keep them. The other great tip I can offer is make use of your lock. We have 25 locks available to your cards. And what that does is it'll hide a card that's special or precious to you from the trading algorithm. So, for instance, I'm hiding my 1977 commemorative set cards because I really like them. And what that does is if somebody's looking to get one of those cards and trades from the card on the card sheet, I won't show up as a trading partner because those cards are specifically locked.
Ah.
So, like I said, we only have 25 of them, so use those locks wisely. But that is a great tip that I can offer that a lot of people don't really realize.
Well, I noticed that if I'm looking at my friends that I have in the app, I can see their cards, but if they have one locked, then I know I can't trade with them. But now I understand what you're saying. If you lock it, regardless of if they're your friend or not. It won't show up in the algorithm if you just do a blind trade.
Exactly.
Makes sense. I'm obsessed with those Hoth ones. Those are just wonderful. I think Hoths are probably huge, especially for people from my generation anyway, who grew up and saw the original film in the theater. So I'm sure you're getting a lot of good feedback for that as well.
Yeah, we're really happy with the way the Hoth encounter went, but all I can say is you haven't seen the next planet yet.
Oh man,
teaser!
I know what I'm pulling for. I'm pulling for Bestman, but I'm sure that will all good things come to those who wait, right?
Yeah, well, hopefully, the plan is for us to be around long enough that we'll hit them all.
Sounds great to me.
Yeah, you mentioned that one of your favorite cards was the 1977 kind of the commemorative cards. For me, I have the Rebels Hera card, and I pulled keep a lock on that forever, I think. I really enjoyed that one. So what are some of the other ones that have been released so far that are some of your favorites that you've seen?
Well, I do like the Rebels cards. I'm actually a big fan of the show. And I think every Rebels card that's come out so far, I've grubbed and traded for and have locked away very securely. And I'm looking forward to the rest. We actually are working on a few new ones down the road, which I'm really excited about, which you'll all have to just be surprised when they come.
Great.
I tend to like most of our insert sets. I'm a fan of the Topps Choice sets. What's great about that is, what people don't kind of realize, and I mean, I hope they do, is everybody that's working on this app. I mean, we're huge Star Wars fans. We live, breathe, eat, and drink Star Wars. We quote it. We grew up collecting, and we were watching it. And the Topps Choice gives us a chance to kind of really make our mark and say, like, this is a character that's special to me. For instance, I was the first one out of the gate, and I insisted on a Porkins card because I love that character.
That's the very first card I got.
Was it really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Amazing. I'm thrilled about that. And unfortunately, I don't remember I think the second one might have been Wicket, which sort of let me down because I'm not a big Ewok fan, but somebody else is a big Ewok fan. So we did a Topps Choice Wicket card, and then we did Sabine, and then we've got more and more coming out. The one thing that I love to say about Star Wars is that, and what's great about this app, is that every character is special to somebody.
That's right.
Even if it's a character you wouldn't think, like, hey, people love Gurinden. He's in the movie for maybe 5 minutes, but there's a whole backstory and people love him, and that's great. Every character, even a character that you might feel like, look, y'all are going to balk at this, but my 6-year-old loves Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Of
course.
Even a character that might not have as many fans as you might think, there is a fan out there for that character. And that's what's great about the sheet, is that, we're able to really present just about every character in the universe so that one person can find that one card.
Oh, very much so. I mentioned the Topps ones. This morning, someone traded me the Snow Trooper and the AT-AT driver for a couple of doubles that I had that were blue, and I couldn't believe it. That's the advice that you mentioned, Neil. Make sure that you know what you're trading away or what you're agreeing to, because you got to be careful. I love the Hoth set. I love the Rebel set. I grabbed 2 of the Ezras for some reason. I really lucked out and got that. I don't have Hera, but she's going to be a hard one to get. But I think that's probably one of the key things. And you put out these wonderful exclusives, the green packs. Those are both fun and challenging at the same time, because you don't know if you're going to get the green card you're looking for or another white C-3PO, your 15th. So it's hard to tell. But
and what's great about that too, what's great about that too is, those cards that are, the rare cards, whether it's, the orange R2D2 or Hera, which was really tough to get, you might be willing, saying, oh, well, I'm just going to trade it, and I'll turn around and trade it. You might want to hang on to it because that could be valuable trading material down the road.
That's right.
Somebody who comes along who hasn't been in the app yet and does want a Hera might be willing to give you, 2 or 3 more valuable cards that you can't get. So it's very strategic.
It really is. It just provides so much fun. I just love it so much.
I love to hear that. So thanks.
So can you give us a hint of what we can look forward to both on the app and at Celebration?
Well, on the app, just more amazing cards. We're working with Lucasfilm to constantly try new designs and put out more and more characters, we're definitely going to do a couple of more planets coming up over the next several months. And then you'll see obviously more Rebels characters. We're hoping to do some more Clone Wars sets. We've got plans. And definitely one of the large things that was sort of the impetus for doing the Card Trader app in general was really starting to slowly roll out those vintage original Star Wars cards back from 1977 on. So you'll see more of those as we move forward. As far as Celebration goes, Topps will have a presence there. We have a booth all set up. We'll be bringing physical product. Wall art, I believe, is coming. And I'll actually be on hand as well to talk and trade and demo the app. So hopefully we'll have some special cards being offered in the packs while we're there. So something a little bit to celebrate Celebration. But definitely swing by the Topps booth and trade with me.
I love it.
Yeah, we'll definitely be stopping by there to shake your hand and get to know more about Topps and check it out with you. There's one thing that's missing. We were talking about this. Dan and I and a friend of ours, we're talking about the app, and as you open packs, they flip over and they unwrap, kind of like as a package would, and they open up and you can see the cards and stuff. But it's missing the bubble gum.
The bubble gum. So. If you actually enter one of our sports apps, specifically Bunt and Huddle, we do still retain the vintage, amazing pink cracked bubble gum.
That's nice.
When you open a pack of cards. We didn't bring it into Star Wars. I can't say that will stay like that forever, but what I will say is that there are plenty of other cool flourishes within Star Wars Card Trader that you should seek out and look for. One of them you've probably seen already when we do our fans' choice.
Yes.
We have this amazing Blastor animation that kind of opens up to reveal the fans' choice card that you've chosen. So that's one right there. And you'll see more as we progress. But as far as the gum goes, it's better for your teeth if you don't.
That's right.
That's good. That's right. It's good.
And of course our blogger and friend Ryder, who's a dentist, he will vouch for that as well.
There you go.
Well, good. That's good to know. And I like too when you have the options, like you just had the other day with Corinthian, where you could choose 4 different options, almost a choose your own adventure, and then based on that, you determine which color exclusive card you were going for. So that was really fun too.
Thanks. So you'll be seeing more of that as Topps Ian and Top Steve hatch their little plans in their laboratory and roll them out over time. So we'll be doing a lot more of that kind of stuff.
Perfect. Well, before we let you go, Neil, we certainly can't let you be on Coffee with Kenobi without asking you our 5 questions we ask all of our guests.
All right, bring them on.
All right. So first one is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
My favorite Star Wars movie would definitely be Empire Strikes Back. I'm a big fan of Bespin. I'm actually a big fan of Lobot.
Oh, cool.
If nobody knows that, my ultimate dream is to see a Sheriff Lobot television show where he's tooling around in a land speeder with an Ugnaught. But I think it's probably the most dramatic and the most poignant film of the 6.
Very good. Your favorite Star Wars character?
I definitely gravitate to Porkins. What I will say is my favorite character to trade in the app is probably Commander Cody. I like Commander Cody for some reason, even though he's the guy that shot at Obi-Wan after Order 66 was levied. But if you want to get me to trade one for a specific card, just include Cody, and I'll probably get that trade.
Oh, cool. So what is your favorite line of dialogue or film moment?
Wonderful girl. I'm either going to kill her or beginning to. I'm paraphrasing. It's a wonderful girl.
Either going to kill her or beginning to like her.
Or beginning to like her. Thank you. It's very late. I like that.
So we're speaking about collecting. If you collect, what's your favorite collectible that you own?
That I currently own? Sure. I actually spent about a week waffling back and forth about buying a loose IG-88 vintage original action figure, and that's sitting in my office.
Nice.
So I quite like that one. I do like the Bounty Hunters, so I was very happy to pick that up. So I guess it would be IG-88.
That's awesome. So Last one is, what particular messages or themes about the Star Wars saga resonate or speak to you?
What themes? Make sure you know who your dad is would be a good one. That's a very important theme in life in general. I mean, hope. Hope is kind of a large theme throughout the Star Wars mythology in general, whether it's, the original films, Rebels, or what have you, to hope for something better, to hope for things to get better and to fight for that, that's important. And, it's something that I would want to impart to my kids, and I do impart to my kids. So there you go.
Absolutely. And are your kids fully on board with the trading card app as well?
So this year is interesting because my oldest is going through his Star Wars Renaissance.
Oh, cool.
He is basically, we've been working our way through the films for the first time. We've done 5 out of the 6, and he's totally bought in.
How fun.
Every night before he goes to bed, the last thing he asks is, "Can I see which card you put out today?" I show him the card, and he asks me about it. So he's definitely on board, and he loves the app. So I think I've done that right, at least.
Absolutely. How old?
He's 6.
Oh, how
good
fun.
Age, yeah.
That's great. Corey has 4 kids, and I have 3, and we love passing on Star Wars with our kids too. So we definitely relate.
Sure.
So Neil, if folks are interested in getting online and checking all this stuff out, how can they get in touch with you, ask you a question, or just say hello?
Well, I'm Senator Neil in the app, so definitely send me some trades, add me as a friend. Again, Commander Cody. I'm a sucker for Commander Cody. I'm on Twitter at Neil Clyde, so you can always shoot me a question there. And generally, and just come on into the app and chat with us.
Good. Those are good tips. Thank you again.
I should point out, by the way, that the app is available in the App Store, in the iOS App Store.
Yes.
Right now for your iPhone and iPad. We're currently working on the Android version. We're going to roll that out shortly, we hope. So that is coming for all those folks who have Androids. You'll see it in the Google Play Store at some point soon. So definitely go and check it out and download it.
Perfect. And I actually, while you were telling us that, I just added you as a friend. I'm Dan Z CWK.
I think I've already added you as a friend.
Oh, let's see. Oh, yeah. Well, that's weird. Yeah. Okay, good. Well, now yeah. Very good. I can't remember if we've done any trades. I've done a lot of trades. Not as many. Some of the people you see have done so many trades. Yeah, thank you again for giving such a fun experience for all of us. And we look forward to meeting you and shaking your hand at Celebration.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. And thanks for having me on the show.
Luke, you're going to find that many of the truths we cling to depend greatly on our own point of view.
I must be allowed to speak.
You've taken your first step into a larger world.
Our topic for show number 35 is Celebration Anaheim. How do you feel about this amazing convention? What are your plans for this exciting event? And what are you most excited to see? Have you ever been to a celebration before? And if so, what advice do you have for first-time attendees as well as for seasoned veterans? And of course, are you planning on attending Disneyland? And how about that podcasting stage? Joining us to discuss Celebration Anaheim is returning guest Amy Ratcliffe. Star Wars fans certainly know Amy's work and talents, as she writes for StarWars.com, Star Wars Insider, and Nerdist, and is a co-host on Full of Sith. We are happy to have Amy back, especially to talk about all the excitement surrounding Anaheim. Welcome back, Amy.
Gosh, thank you guys so much for having me back. I'm getting to that point where I'm getting more and more excited about Celebration. So this will, like you said, this will be good and cathartic and will kind of help calm me down while keeping me excited, if that makes sense.
It does. Mm-hmm. It does. I think we're all in similar boats, and we were talking about this a little bit before, but when I saw the schedule, of course, Corey and I text each other all the time, incessantly. Probably I bother him more than he bothers me. But you look at the schedule, and it's just sort of like there's so much to do that you definitely won't be bored, but it's probably going to be hard to see everything you want to see. So we're hoping that through this conversation, we'll all kind of find a way to find our inner Yoda and find some peace with what's going on, because there's a lot of wonderful things that we can partake in when it comes to Celebration Anaheim. So let's start with the first question, Amy. What does Celebration mean to you?
Simply, well, can I put it simply? I think I can. Celebration means home. More than any other convention I attend, and I've attended a fair amount, Celebration just feels the most comfortable, where I'm the most at home with fellow fans, and it's just the most positive feeling convention I go to. That's the short explanation.
I like that.
Sure,
Home is great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Star Wars fans are really going to feel like it's a bit of a homecoming, because where else can you go to find it exclusively? I've heard Kevin Lyle of Norse Legion talking about this, and he said other conventions are amazing because they've got a lot of great stuff going on, but Star Wars is a part of it, and the other stuff is wonderful too. But here you're completely ensconced in Star Wars in such a unique way. And Corey, for you, this has got to be particularly special because you're going to represent our show, of course, but you're also going for the first time ever as a fan and just as a participant. How does that feel?
That feels great. It's one of those huge events that you always kind of put on your bucket list. You think, oh, I'll do that someday and do that. And I know a lot of folks out there have done it multiple times. And so for me, for this first time, it's a little bit scary, a little bit daunting, I think. But there's so many new folks going as well. I think there's a lot of new fans that are going to enter for the first time and experience everything. And just from the feedback that I've gotten from Amy and Dan, you guys have been there multiple times to Celebration and just have so much positiveness about it. And just the fans themselves just interact with all my friends online, all my people that we follow and we interact with, just to meet them, face to face. We met Amy a couple weeks ago, and that was just so much fun. It was just sort of like, oh my gosh, we just, got along famously, and it was just a great time. It really heightened the whole event for us just to see friends, and hang out and just enjoy each other's company. So I think that all in all is going to be the highlight, I think, the whole event.
Yeah.
Just to see everybody and interact and have fun.
I think that's well said. And it's almost like you talk about when we were fortunate enough to go to Indiana Comic-Con and meet Amy and meet Joa. And it's almost like it peels back the layer from the Twitter feed.
It does.
And it's just like these people become like not just these online. I mean, let's face it. Like sometimes when you interact with people on Twitter, they become like online little Twitter celebrities for you. It's like a whole different genre, really. And then you meet them face to face, and they're just like they're you. They're fans, they're friends, they're people. They have lots of passionate things that they like. So they're friends, most importantly. And we're going to get to meet people we've been interacting with for so long face to face in a Star Wars environment with Star Wars celebrities and the Droid Builders and the 501st and podcasts and just so much going on. It's pretty exciting. The first one I went to, and only one, was Celebration 3. And that was wonderful. And I went with my friend Brian Romersberger, who's in Geeks Helping Geeks with us. And it was something that I debated going to for a long time. And then he said he was going to go, but he had no one to go with. So I said, all right, I'll go. Then I started looking online and seeing the autographs that you could get. And I started looking at the different displays that were going to be there. And that was actually when George Lucas was going to be there. I missed him because we got there late, which was unfortunate. But now we've got these new experiences when you're looking at someone like J.J. Abrams going there, or Kathleen Kennedy, and who knows what other surprises that they have. So, Amy, what can fans who have never been to a Celebration expect from an event like this?
Oh, man. I think you can expect that no matter what your interest is, or no matter what the interests are of your traveling companions or families, everybody will have something to do. And not only something to do, but something to do or see that they're super passionate about. So, if you have a kid that really wants to basically play with toys, you can go build dioramas. In the diorama section, I think this year is Bespin, and they'll set you up with materials and you get to play. If, you're really into costuming, oh my goodness. There are amazing, 501st and Rebel Legion, yes. And also just amazing cosplayers at Celebration. You'll see Star Wars costumes you don't see. I rarely see Zam Wessel out in the wild, other than at, pictures from Disney Star Wars weekends, but you'll see multiple Zam Wessels. You'll see any costume you can basically imagine, and if you're there for panels, whether that's collecting or, to see big things like Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams, or to see celebrities speak, because sometimes people will be like, but it's 4 days of Star Wars. Like, how much Star Wars is there really to, but no, you will have no problem keeping busy, just looking at things or, actively attending panels.
And you put it just right. It is a daunting 4 days of Star Wars, and there's so much going on. We got earlier this week, we got the announcement of the show schedules of kind of what everything is going on. Some stuff still isn't filled out and still kind of waiting on the details there. But Now let's look a little bit closely at the schedule. And, the first thing right off the bat, Thursday, J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy are doing a panel and kind of kicking things off. And that's so huge because we haven't seen anything since, I want to say the trailer back in November of last year. And, for them to be there and just talk and kind of kick things off, it just it kind of sets the stage a little bit for how big this event really is.
I agree. And I feel, and especially with that panel, I feel very strongly that we're going to get a new Force Awakens trailer. So imagine we're already all really excited about Celebration. I'm really excited to be there. But at the first thing of, the first event is seeing a brand new trailer for Force Awakens, like that we're all going to be running around like children, waving our arms in the air, basically.
Yes. Hopefully we have that energy when it happens. Because we had talked about this at Indiana. And Joe Stinson from the Cantina Cast said to us, "Oh yeah, people are going to get there at 2 a.m." And we all sort of looked at each other like, "Really?" So I'm talking to my wife about this the other night, and she says, "Well, why don't you? You're there. It's a once in a lifetime experience. Why don't you just do that?" So, am I going at 2 a.m.? No, I am not. But I will get there early because I think it's going to be worth it. In fact, let's just open up our Celebration apps on our phones or your cellular devices or whatever, and let's just kind of go through the schedule and sort of see what we think. How's that sound?
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Have you guys noticed that every time you open up the app, it says schedules have changed, and then you look through it and nothing has changed?
I haven't been playing around with the app a lot yet because I was trying to wait for them. Like, I want to know what all the things are before I make my master schedule. So I keep waiting for all the 2BAs and stuff to be filled in.
Oh, I hear you. Well, I mean, I won't say I check it as much as I check the top Star Wars app, but I do check it a lot.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, Dan, you said there. You flip it on and it pops up the schedule, and there's a little update that runs.
Yeah.
And I think that's just an automatic thing. I think it just automatically updates. So in case they did change anything, it just pops up to fill in the gaps. As far as what they're still kind of putting things together and filling in the details on some of these to be announced events.
So obviously the thing that kicks it off 10 to 11 is J.J. Abrams and Kathleen Kennedy, and Amy, you talked about what we're hoping to see there. We know there's going to be special surprises there, so we're hoping that's the cast or a large portion of the cast from The Force Awakens. Is it safe to say that we're all going to try to hit that one?
I think so.
I am, and I think, if you'll notice, it's going to be simulcast in so many rooms that I feel like unless you feel a strong need to be in the same room as the stage, you probably, can get away with, don't hold me to this, but I think you can get away with getting in line, more like at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I wondered about that too, because it's just like you said, a matter, do you want to be actually in the room, but you're still going to be able to see it from a lot of different places. And I saw Norse Legion on Facebook put the map for Celebration on there, and it looks like there's going to be plenty of room for people, so we'll see. You notice also on the app that there's all kind of things going on throughout the day, the droid builders, the collector's room. Those are pretty much things, Rancho Obi-Wan, of course, a lot of stuff that is going on throughout the entire weekend. So I'm just going to fast forward down to 11:30 on Thursday. And
why, Dan?
It's
Why?
Coffee with Kenobi. Yeah, that's weird. So now it says we're in room 208A. It used to be, say, 208AB. So that's fun. Here's the thing that's very interesting. Going on at the same time is something that says coming soon behind the scenes stage. That's part of what we don't know as far as what's in our schedule, but it's probably safe to say that something pretty awesome is going to be running at the same time as us. So that poses an interesting dilemma for us because I probably want to see whatever is going on, but I'm not going to abandon my co-host.
Oh, please. I can only do Christopher Walken for so long.
That's true. Thank goodness for that. And fun thing about our show, of course, I'm going to have to plug it, is that John Morton, Dak, is going to be on with us as a special guest. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh, that's really cool. I saw that earlier today.
Yeah, he actually contacted us and said, "Do you guys have room?" And it was, yes.
We do,
sure,
yes.
You're Dak. And Norse Legion has donated 5 different pieces of jewelry from their Star Wars collection that we're going to be giving away at the panel as well. So that's going to be really, really awesome too.
Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, they got wonderful stuff. So Anything else that you see from between 11 and 12:30 that catches your eyes?
On here they've got also at 11:30 they have Meet the Legions, where I know a lot of 501st members will be there.
Yeah,
costuming and cosplaying and stuff. So that's a huge draw, I think, for a lot of folks that are into that. It has it here at 303 A, B, C, and D. I don't know if that's all different panels, or maybe it's within the same room or something. But I think that's a huge draw for folks that are interested in doing that. I think that's a big thing for them to get together. Like, we talk about, talking to our friends online. I think it's similar for their kind of world as far as, talking their costume friends online and getting in touch with them. And this is a good place for them to kind of meet and greet each other and show off a little bit as far as what they've been working on this whole entire year.
True. And Amy, it's probably safe to say they'll be walking around the convention quite a bit anyway, so you'll have plenty of opportunities to meet members of the 501st.
Yeah, you're going to, I think, have a hard time not running into 501st or Rebel Legions.
True. And the Mercs, too. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So how about this? Maybe as we're talking, I'm looking at how much time we've chatted already, and we've only covered an hour of one day. So maybe we should try this. I've made out a schedule for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and Sunday. Just sort of ideas that I have written down, and some of the times conflict because I'm still very much trying to decide how I'm going to juggle all of this. And I think it's probably safe to assume if you went to all the panels that you wanted to go to, there'd be almost no time to go walk the convention floor, which, of course, I certainly want to do both those things. So do both of you have sort of loose ideas of what you want to see each day?
I'd say I have a loose idea. I know you and I are kind of debating on some things and trying to pick and choose because there's a lot of events that conflict, like you mentioned. The other thing too is it seems like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are all big days, but Saturday seems to be the biggest day.
Yeah, true.
So if you were going to hit the convention floor, it might be easier to do it one of those earlier days or maybe the last day.
Probably.
Depending on what you're looking for. I don't know if it's not sold out or not. May not wait till Sunday, but maybe Thursday if somebody gets a chance. So you're gonna have to pick and choose,
right?
So well,
let's pick and choose now. Amy, do you have a sort of a soft schedule made as well?
Kind of, but I have a quick suggestion.
Yeah, please
that
do.
For people who don't feel compelled or don't feel like they need to be at the J.J. Abrams Kathleen Kennedy panel or watch it. If the exhibit hall is open at 10 a.m. during that panel, you're going to have so much room. Like, if you want to shop,
that's
go
true,
to the exhibit hall. Like, because a lot of people are going to be. So, and it's only an hour, but you'll get some good shopping in before everybody else.
It's very similar to the strategy when you're at Disney World or Disneyland. Go to the rides that are the toughest to go on during the parades because there's less people.
Yeah, exactly.
Good idea. All right, so I'll just say Thursday. Here's what I have written down. I have the J.J. Abrams panel. I have our show. I also put down the Star Wars Collectors Update, which is the same time as our show. This is how conflicted I am. At from 1 to 2 is a Star Wars Trooper and Military Personnel with John Morton, which is going to be cool. 2:30 to 3:30 catches my eye because we've got the Disney Parks and Star Wars merchandise. I'm a big fan of that. 3:30 to 4:30 is probably the home run of the day, and that is the Untold Clone Wars with Dave Filoni and Pablo Hidalgo. Mm-hmm. That just sounds incredible. Conflicting with that is Ian McDermott's interview with James Arnold Taylor, which would be amazing. Radio 1138 is going to be on at 5:30, and then, of course, that night, episodes 1 and 2 in 3D. So that's kind of sort of things I've been looking at so far for Thursday. How about you, Amy?
I try to hit loose. And when I get down to nitty gritty schedule, if I have things that conflict, I'll rank them. Yeah. Or sometimes I'll rank all of them. Like, this is a must. This is I'd feel okay missing it. That helps me if anybody else likes to make spreadsheets because I have the app, but I like spreadsheets. So the big ones on mine, the two must do's are the Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams and the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then the next, then I have the next tier is I don't mean make it sound like you guys are, on the next tier, but your podcast is on the next tier. The Disney Parks thing is on the next tier. It's I want to go to those, but you try to build in some flexibility.
Sure.
I think you have to. Everyone's going to rank what they really want to do, and there's only time for enough certain things, and And certainly we're going to be running from place to place, I think. It seems like, just trying to fit everything in or just catch a glimpse of folks that we want to support and things like that. So, like we've talked about here, I mean, like I said, I checked off a couple of things as well. I checked off the Dave Filoni thing, Pablo Dago, and just pick some of those bigger events. They're kind of horizons, I think. For us as just podcasters, I think we get to see the big news and the big creators talk and kind of explain things. So I think some of that stuff is big draws for me, especially. I like to hear that kind of stuff and hear them kind of talk about, the behind the scenes stuff and kind of what's on the horizon for, upcoming Star Wars stuff or TV stuff, Rebel stuff. So it's so cool that we get the chance to do some of this stuff, but I know we probably can't do it all. Well,
what do you have on your for your day that you've got mapped out?
I have pretty much the same thing you do. I have let's see, go back here. I have the J.J. Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy thing checked off. And then
I think that'll be popular.
I think it will be too. Well, it kicks off the whole thing. It's like the opener. The coffee.
Corey, didn't your sarcasm light go on when I said that?
Yeah, it did. We have our podcast 11:30. I kind of kept things open because I wasn't like drawn to a whole lot of stuff. I mean,
oh man, I did eliminate stuff. I pretty much had everything checked. Now that gosh, I can't clone myself.
Well, the other thing too is there's a Sabres Guild lightsaber demonstration.
Yeah,
I'm a lightsaber fan. I like lightsabers, but
it's every day too. Though
I think that's every day as well. So it's like you have to be like, I'll go to it a certain day, or I'll try and check it out if we're not doing something else. You mentioned the Star Wars troop and military service professionals are going to be there. There's Jedi training for kids on the stage. I mean, I don't have that stuff checked off, but I was like, I just want to walk by it,
Yeah.
And check it out and just like kind of be in the hubbub of what's going on. Of course, there's stuff that there's this coming soon at the digital stage. There's stuff that's not filled out yet, so I have to keep it kind of open for we're almost 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out before we
15 days.
15 days, yeah, 2 weeks. So I mean, there's still stuff coming. They're still filling in gaps, and those might trump what I've already got written down. So you said, Amy, you got to have like tiers.
You do, and the big dilemma for me is: do I want to see the Clone Wars thing, or do I want to see Ian McDiarmid interviewed?
I mean, on that, I think that goes down per personal preference.
Well, certainly it does. But what do you guys prefer?
Clone Wars.
Yeah, Clone Wars. I'd probably go Clone Wars.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know. I mean, how many times am I going to get a chance to see Ian McDiarmid? But who knows what they're going to say about Clone Wars? I mean, maybe nothing, but just the opportunity to hear Dave talk live about it would be pretty remarkable.
Well, I think too, anytime that Dave kind of expands on something he's been, fostering for so long, he has such quotable lines. I think he talks such detail on some of the stuff that you never realized. And I think he's interesting to hear on a creative level too.
True.
So I think that's really impactful for me as a creator and just as a fan of his. So I think personally for me, I'd choose that.
Well, anything else? If there's nothing else to say about Thursday, let's move on to Friday, which is it was a little bit easier for me to make a schedule. Amy, why don't we start with you on this? What for Friday jumps out for you?
Let's see. For Friday, I'm on 2 panels, so I guess I should be at those.
Oh yeah, tell us which ones.
I'm going to be on the I'm getting the exact title. Star Wars journalism panel with Brian Young at 10:30.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be good. And then I'm going to be on the Star Wars Insider panel, which is at like 6 o'clock.
6:30.
6:30. There it is. And other than that, like the Joel Aaron, like the look of Star Wars Rebels interests me because Joel Aaron just always has like, anytime I speak to him about lighting, like and not because I have a personal interest in learning how to do that, but it always makes me look at Clone Wars or Rebels differently. He just always has really smart and interesting things to say. And the other one that's kind of on my list is, doesn't have a description yet, but it's called Rebel Women Who Fought the Clone Wars. But it overlaps with the Insider panel.
Oh.
Ugh, rats. So those are kind of, seeing Dennis Muren would be cool too.
That would be cool.
This is hard.
It's very hard. I'm wondering if this is going to help us or make it even more challenging. But hey, what a great problem to have. Corey, what about you? What about Friday for you?
Yeah, Friday for me, I was going through and checking off some of the stuff. I had the Rancher Obi-Wan Steve Sansweet experience. It's at 10 o'clock. I think that runs all day, so I think it's something we can run by, I think, and check out during the any part of the day that's open. I follow Brian Young. He's got some good stuff. He's got he's on the fan stage at 10:30 on journalism and Star Wars, and I thought it'd be kind of cool to check that out. I mean, I'm just like going through like checking things off and kind of seeing what's out there. Another one, they have a class with some of the folks from Rebels, the design class. I thought it would be kind of cool to check that out too. That's at 11 o'clock and goes to 12 o'clock. But then and conflicting to that is the Ralph Quarry Star Wars art show.
I know.
And I was like, my goodness, there's like, I keep scrolling, and then all of a sudden, right next to that is Ray Park on the celebration stage at 11:30. Awesome. I was like, wait a minute, I want to go to this and this and this. So now that we get to talking about this and like into these schedules, I'm like, no. Oh boy, there's so much going on. I mean, another one I checked off was, what was it? Let's see.
There's something major that neither of you mentioned, which I'm excited that I get to be the one to bring it up.
Go for it, yeah.
Well, the ones that stuck out for me, the journalism panel, clearly, and now that I know that you're on it too, maybe that makes me want to see even more. But Skywalking Through Neverland is on at 3. They've got a big interactive thing planned, which sounds fun. The main one, though, that no one talked about was from 3:30 to 4:30 is one big story working within the Star Wars canon. And it's going to have, the story group there. I mean, Jennifer Heddle is going to be there, Shel Shapiro, Jordan White, Leland Chee. I mean, some major players in Star Wars storytelling are all going to be there talking about the canon, and we're kind of obsessed with that. So that's going to be hard for me to miss. And then, of course, the Star Wars Insider panel. This one is the one that there's a lot more artistic design things, which I really like. But this may be a day when I get a chance to kind of go through the celebration floor in a lot more detail too.
Yeah, Dan, we might have to split up once in a while.
Yeah.
We're like
I won't be
so
scared,
we can find
I
each other.
promise.
Yeah, that's right. Flashlights and some goodie bars.
Idea.
Yeah.
A leash,
yes.
And that also, ladies and gentlemen, isn't that the night when we get to see Revenge of the Sith in 3D for the first time?
Yes, it is in 3D at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
during the Insider panel.
Oh man, yeah, you're right.
It's not like, well, oh gosh. See, I imagine it must be a nightmare to have to schedule this.
Oh, I can. Yeah, no. That thinking about that gives me an ulcer.
Then at 7 o'clock, the Anthony Daniels Inside C3PO.
Yeah,
his stage show as well. So it's like, my goodness,
he's really always so great.
Yeah, he's quite gifted. So that's, I don't know.
And you have to pick, and not only do you have to pick, but like for these bigger panels, you have to take waiting in line into account.
Exactly. It's not like you can just walk up. It's not McDonald's.
No.
If only it was like the dollar menu at McDonald's. Pick what you want.
Well, Saturday is probably the most challenging, I would say. I mean,
yeah,
Saturday's a big press day. There's going to be a lot of fun Rebels stuff going on too. But we've got from 11 to 12 on the celebration stage, new allies and new villains in Star Wars Rebels, and the whole cast of Rebels is going to be there. And it says they've got new surprises too, so that's awesome. Full of Sith. Hello, they're going on at noon. I assume, Amy, you'll be joining them, obviously.
Yes, though.
That's going to be.
I might have to ditch it. The Rebels press conference starts at 12:30, so.
I know.
So I'm still figuring that out.
I don't know. Yeah, I saw that and I thought, oh man. I mean, pretty much every podcast is going to run into there's something that's going to be going on when they are broadcasting.
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for the Wolfpack. I mean, they've got a great show. They have to go on the same time as Smuggler's Bounty. The Kyle.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's from 1 to 2:30. That seems to be the longest one. Then you've got Kevin Kiner from 2 to 3 talking about composing Star Wars. That's got to be out of this world awesome.
Dan, also at 1 o'clock, there's Star Wars Comes Home to Marvel Comics.
I know.
At 1 o'clock, so during the Kyle Newman thing as well. So it's
That's tough. Star Wars
tough,
at Delroy's at 2:30 to 3:30. There's a fan quiz show from 3 to 4, which I think would be fun. And Corey, you probably shouldn't try out for.
I probably should not.
And then we've got the Star Wars red carpet at 4, and then the premiere of season 2 of Rebels from 5 to 6:30. So I mean, that's a blockbuster day. Are we all more stressed now than we were?
Yes.
When we
just looking through this, I'm like, wait a minute, I didn't know this was going on. Oh wait, this is the same time as this. I am stressing out. I'm like scrolling as fast as I can to look at stuff, and it's like all running together in one big glob. But I'm excited.
What stands out for you guys that we didn't already mention, or that you just want to emphasize again for Saturday?
Boy, there's some stuff here. Let's see. We did the Rebels thing. Fangirls Going Rogue is at 3:00.
Yeah. See,
Delray's at 2:30. They have a Star Wars at Delray, which would be interesting to go see that. Wolfpack, you said. Man, there's just so much. They have there's on behind the stage scene. They have new adaptations to the Star Wars saga from Disney Worldwide Publishing. I mean, I'm sure they'll be showcasing all kinds of their new, those 20 items or whatever they were coming out this fall, kind of giving us a glimmer at that as far as.
That was all the publishing companies. Too.
Yeah, that was kind of the stuff that they're going to show as far as, getting up to date with Star Wars just through publishing. So that'd be interesting to see that too.
Yeah, I think the only one I'd have to add, it's not on my list, but I know it is on many people's list, is a tribute to Aaron Alston.
Yes, which goes on the same time as Rebels, doesn't it?
The red carpet.
Just before it. So
that's hard. That's you almost wish that nothing would compete with Aaron's thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's got to be a nightmare to have to schedule, and you cannot please everybody, certainly. And that's all. It's just all part of it. And it's Saturday the night of the 501st party, or is that Friday?
Oh, that's Friday.
Yeah, because Thursday, of course, is the big podcast meetup.
Yes, at the Hilton lobby at 6:30.
That's right. How many different shows are going to be there? For some reason, the number 8 is popping into my head.
And that's what I was thinking, 8 to 10. So let's go with that.
Yeah,
8 to 10.
Well, we take it over. Yeah.
We know it's Coffee with Kenobi. We know it's full of Sith. We know it's Assembly of Geeks. We know it's Radio 1138. We know it's Skywalking Through Neverland. Fangirls Going Rogue, yes?
Yes.
Yes, and who else? Rebels Report?
I don't remember. I'm looking. I'm looking because I can't remember, because a few other people just said they would like to participate, and they weren't podcast names that were familiar to me. But so who was this that I just added? Let's see, Tashi Station. That's one we forgot.
Oh, of course, yes.
The Force Cast.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yeah, those guys, heard of them. Star Wars Action News. We said that one. This weekend, Star Wars 7x7. And I think you mentioned the Wolfpack.
Oh, yeah, Wolfpack too, for sure. And I'm sure Cantina Cast maybe. So that's
Cantina Cast. Yeah, so I guess it's more like 12.
That's a lot. Wow, how big is that lobby?
It's pretty big, and it extends back past the elevators too. There's a lot of couches back there, so we'll see. And if not, it's outdoor. It's at the lobby, so the outdoors is closed, and it'll be nice. So we can overflow outside.
Exactly.
If we have to. I'm very curious to see how it goes.
Yeah, it's from 6:30 to 8, so that's going to be
right now.
That's going to be great.
Right now, there's 148 people that say they're going, so that's going to be packed. Wow. For sure.
That's pretty cool. So then Sunday. The Sunday's probably a trickier day because I'm sure a lot of people are going to obviously fly home. I know we're flying home, but much later in the evening. So what stands out for all of you on Sunday? I mean, obviously there's a big draw here with Gareth Edwards' panel at the beginning where they're going to talk about the standalone films. I mean, that's going to be a must-see, I would think.
Yeah, that one's on my list. But also at the same time, or overlapping, so is Tashi Station Radio.
I know.
And Trisha's panel from a certain point of view. So
I know that. Talk about not only do we have to be clone, but we need to be cloned into 3 different people.
Well, Dan, I was expecting you to want to go to the William Shakespeare Star Wars on stage.
Well, yeah, I was waiting on that, but I saw that and I knew that Ian Desch was going to be there and they were going to be reading from his books. It's going to be hard for me to miss that one. I mean, Ian and I become good friends, and I helped him on these prequel books, and I really want to go. So that's hard. It's really hard. And again, when we say these are hard or challenging, I feel silly even saying that because there are so many people who wish they could go to Celebration, who wish they had this kind of an issue or this problem. So we feel very blessed and fortunate. This is a fun stress if there is such a thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it is a very I don't know what the phrase is, but you're right. Yeah, it's a very wonderful problem to have. A very good one.
It's like winning the Star Wars lottery and not knowing how to spend your money. Your credits.
Your credits, yeah, exactly. I'd spend them on trading cards, but
oh yeah, no kidding. So then another one I think that looks fun on Sunday is the Dawn of Star Wars, collecting the earliest memorabilia, just sort of harkening back to some of the glory days. And I believe that Steve Sansweet is running that one, so that is pretty cool. Let me look through.
Billy D is at 1:30.
Is it Steve? No, it's Steve and Pete Vilmer. That'll be fun. Yeah, and Billy D is going to be on the stage too. And another thing that we have mentioned, by the way, covers whoever Jad is going to interview. We know he's going to interview Ian McDiarmid. I'm pretty sure that he's interviewing Mark Hamill, and then after that he goes into his one-man stage show too, or maybe that's vice versa. So that's how it's going to be must see as well. And then Amy, how does the Celebration store work? Any clue? I mean, I remember Celebration 3. You couldn't even get into the store. Like, you literally could not get in the store if you wait in line for 5 hours. But now they've changed things. How does that work now?
I would say I've never had a problem getting in the store, but I also am not I'm not the person who will get there the second it opens to get an exclusive. So by the time I get to it on Saturday or Sunday, like, it might be a little picked over, but there's still stuff available, and I've never waited in any kind of line to check out or to get in. You just walk in and browse, and maybe like 5 minutes to check out. So
that's
hopefully
great.
They have a similar setup with a lot of room.
So if folks want to go early or later in the event or later in the weekend, there's still enough merchandise or goodies to check out there. You don't think it's picked over?
It'll be a little picked over probably because you never know what people are going to go, like what the popular, like the hot ticket items are going to be. But
the flip-flops.
The flip-flops look really cool.
They do.
Where did I just see flip-flops? Oh, at Disneyland, but they're kid sizes Star Wars flip-flops. So I guess if you're really, let's put it this way, like, I am not obsessive about merch. Like, I'll go and look, and if they have something I want, then I'm like, yes, I will buy this. But if it's something I really, really, really want, I would be there early. So if you really, really want that Hera shirt or anything else, don't put it off. But if you're kind of like, cool, I'll look, and if I see stuff neat, if not, that's okay. Then yeah, wait till Saturday or Sunday.
There is a very cool Hera shirt that they showed today on StarWars.com.
There is.
Really cool. That they pretty much showed a lot. I'd say 20 to 25 different T-shirts and some sweatshirts and a fun cooking apron and the flip-flops. And I was pretty excited. I was drawn, Corey, you predicted this. I was drawn to that picture of Luke holding the Stormtrooper helmet like Hamlet. I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, anything that has the Star Wars Celebration logo on the sleeve is pretty neat too. Well, that's good to hear. So all we've managed to do is muddy the waters and show what kind of how fortunate we are and how many different things there are, how many wonderful options to choose from. Let's talk a little bit more about the convention center. I've never been to the Anaheim Convention Center. I know, Amy, you are certainly an expert, I would say, when it comes to that. D23 Expo is there, and WonderCon is there. What can you tell us about the convention center?
Yeah, I will be there tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, today is Wednesday, right? Yes. The convention center, it's for those of you who've been to the past couple celebrations in Orange County in Orlando, it's not as gigantic as Orange County. However, this is coming from somebody who I would rather just stay in, like, I really like that convention center. I really like the hotel setup, but putting that bitterness aside, I feel like, I've seen people worried that we'd be waiting outside at WonderCon or at Celebration. Mm-hmm. And Celebration, based on the past, has gotten not quite half, maybe 3/4 of the total the attendance of WonderCon. And I've never seen that kind of problem at WonderCon. And WonderCon, there are different levels, of course. Like, I don't know if WonderCon's ever had like a name like Mark Hamill on the stage, but they've had some pretty significant, television shows there. And you're going to wait in line for sure. But it's not going to be like, I've never seen a line like go outside. So I don't think you have to worry about that.
That's good. I saw the map. The queue to get into Celebration is gigantic. Absolutely gigantic. Yeah, it's on Norse Legion's Facebook page. I put it on our Facebook page too if you want to pull it up. But it seems gigantic. I remember for Celebration 3, there's a line outside, and we had to stand outside in the rain for 2 hours to get inside.
Well, and I'll give you, it's like, I don't know if this applies. I'm going to assume it does. I don't usually, enter someplace when it opens because I know that I'm not a patient person. Or I have like an exhibitor badge or something and I get in early. But with Comic-Con, and it might not apply to Celebration, but with Comic-Con, if you wait in line to get there the second it opens, you're going to be in line for like an hour. If you wait until 20 minutes after it opens, you can stroll right in.
Huh.
It's just like a weird, like, do they funnel all those people through, or they open more doors and you can just walk in? And I guess if you're going after an exclusive, that 20 minutes can make a big difference. So a Celebration, unless you need to get there the second it opens, because they're doing some cool event on the exhibit hall floor, then take your time, go get a cup of coffee, and then go in. And the exhibit, the convention center, the Wi-Fi, I don't think they have Wi-Fi downstairs. If I remember right, they usually have free Wi-Fi available on the upper levels. That's it's a grab bag. Sometimes it works and sometimes not so much. That's the thing I always think about because I like to tweet a lot and I report.
Yes.
And you might also be able to get free Wi-Fi in Hilton Lobby, which is walkable. And when you get hungry, usually with Anaheim Convention Center, food trucks will line up outside, just out the front in front of the Hilton. And that's much better than anything you're going to get to eat. And it's typical convention center food. It's fuel, but it doesn't taste pleasant.
It's expensive too, probably.
Exactly. So the food trucks, they're not going to be the cheapest thing, but they're there. And also, if you go into the Hilton, there's like a little food court area where I believe there is, a little pizza place, Sbarro, like the food court pizza, and, maybe Baja Fresh. I feel like there's like a taco-y place there. So those are close walking options. And if you have, 30, 45 minutes to kill, you can hoof it to downtown Disney and choose from a plethora of options.
I was just going to ask, how long is the walk to downtown Disney from the convention?
If I'm remembering right, it's about 10 or 15 minutes each way.
Oh, that's not bad.
So it's not bad. It's not going to feel great if it's hot, but it's semi-shaded. So, which are also things I think about because I don't like sun beating on any part of my body for a very long time.
I was going to ask as well, weather-wise, we're going from central Illinois. It's getting warmer here, but, you're out there right now. Is it like blazing hot? We were 2 weeks out. I would assume the weather's going to be similar to what it is now.
I can't imagine it blazing hot.
Well, not blazing hot. I mean, you're not going to be staying outside all day long, but let's talk about if people want to just dress for the convention. I mean, if they're not cosplaying or anything like that, what kind of apparel would be comfortable, I guess, would be with, messing with the heat and, in and out and stuff like that. I mean, what would be maybe more comfortable for folks to wear?
Yeah. This makes me backtrack on an earlier statement when I said you wouldn't have to wait outside in line. You may wait outside in line for Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams because that's lining up before the convention opens, probably. So I fibbed already, but I just, because that ties into, you want to pack, it does get warm here, but you want to pack in layers because, for example, I went to Disneyland earlier this week and I got there at 8:30 and it was cold. Like I had on jeans and a t-shirt and a very warm hooded sweatshirt and I was chilly. I'm like, I need something warm in my hand. But then like a mere 4 hours later, 3-4 hours later, I was like, why did I wear jeans? It's so hot. right now, like highs are in like the 80s, low 80s. Like probably I wouldn't be surprised if it creeped up into the low 90s, but you're going to be starting from, 50s is really cold to me, so I might not be, but like high 40s, low 50s at nights in the mornings, up to 80s, 90s during the day. So pack sunscreen, or a parasol or whatever, and bring layers, and dress that. And that's going to be very true for the convention center as well, because usually what happens is the upper levels, the panel rooms are freezing cold, while the exhibit hall floor is a little warmer because so many people are milling about.
Huh.
So
I was wondering about that too. If people mostly wear jeans or shorts inside?
A little bit of both. And I guess it depends on, like, I know I get really cold very easily. So I tend to if I wear like skirts, I tend to wear tights. And I always have like an extra jacket or an extra sweater, to wear over my t-shirt or long sleeve shirt. So, we do provide Coffee with Kenobi sweatshirts if you
ever so inclined,
in a
yes.
pinch, yeah.
I will remember that.
And for folks who ever want to, don't know what to wear, there's Coffee with Kenobi t-shirts. So check those out. I'm going to put a little slice of promo in there. Yes.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
I'm like that. Yes.
We are masters of subtlety, obviously. So, is there anything else that we talked about? The food, transportation to and from? I assume it's just the same as anywhere, just taxis, or are there shuttles? Probably.
Yeah. If you're flying in to LAX and going to Anaheim, LAX is the main airport here. Don't do a taxi if you can help it, because it's going to be really expensive. So if you're flying into LAX and you're getting in the same time as your friends, pool together and you can rent a town car. That way you'll save some money. Or you can split a taxi. There is, I'm trying to remember, there is a bus service that goes, I think, from LAX to Anaheim. I think it's a flyaway bus. And check with your hotel. They probably don't have a shuttle for LAX, because LAX is only, from Anaheim, it's like maybe roughly 30-ish miles. But 30 miles in Los Angeles is, and I'm not exaggerating, like it's so much more than 30 miles. Because of traffic. You're going to want to plan on, unless you're getting in the middle of the night, for an hour at least to get from Anaheim, LAX to Anaheim after you get your luggage, because also if you've never flown into LAX, getting your luggage usually takes 20 to 30 minutes.
And Corey, I can't remember the name of the place where we're staying. What town is that? Oh,
I'm drawing a blank.
Oh, that's right, because you guys are staying close by.
We are. It's Irvine.
Okay, that's not...
So maybe like 20 minutes?
Yeah, that's not too bad. But make sure, especially on the weekdays when you're traveling to the convention... here's a tip.
Yes.
Everybody who's going to be driving in Los Angeles for any amount who's coming to Celebration, download Waze on I know it's available on iPhone, and it might be available on Android, but WAZE if you don't already have it downloaded, because it will, I don't want to say it'll save your life. That's a little dramatic. It will make your driving experience in Los Angeles much more pleasant, because it'll direct you around accidents and
really WAZE.
Yeah, and I've tried it. Like I use it everywhere I drive here, even if it's places you know how to get to. Mm-hmm. It has so many people using it that it'll tell you the fastest routes. And it'll tell you, like, it saved me from being held up by an accident for probably 30 to 45 minutes the other day.
Okay. Wow. So it's basically
it's like a GPS type style app?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly.
I just found it. Waze, social GPS maps, and traffic. It's got like a little thought bubble for the icon.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Well, that is a great tip.
Use that. And then if you're driving, like for you guys, if you're driving on weekdays to the convention center, build in, I would take the distance that you're driving, double it, and then add like an extra 15, 20 minutes to make sure you get there on time.
Oh, wow. That's a good tip. That's a great tip.
And along that line, if anybody's driving into the convention center from everywhere else, look into the parking situation before before you leave the house, because parking sometimes at WonderCon it fills up and turns into a hot mess.
Well, the parking at Indiana was just so easy. I mean, I was hoping it would be like that, but probably that's not going to be the case.
Not unless you get there early. They've had instances and I don't know. I know Celebration is not as big as WonderCon, so maybe it won't be a problem. But sometimes they would park people off site and do a shuttle. But if you get to WonderCon early in the day, Celebration early in the day. Too many conventions. It should be okay. And worst case scenario, now that's an expensive option. You could always park at the Disney parking garage, but that's almost like $20. And then you have to walk for it's a little bit farther. It's like for 15 minutes, but that is a worst case option.
Interesting. Well, these are all very good tips too.
Yeah,
and I know a lot of people are going to be close by because they're going to be able to just walk from their hotel, but there will be folks driving as well. So that's very good.
Yeah, I think, a lot of locals are going, I as far as I can tell. So, but they don't need those tips. Never mind.
Forget what you just heard. Yes.
Perfect. All right. Well, Amy, thank you so much. This was all kinds of fun as always. And it's just so fun to be able to podcast with you and call you friend and know we're going to get to hang out with you in a couple of weeks. How can listeners get in touch with you if they want to ask you a question or just say hello?
Twitter is the best place. I'm at Twitter. And, oh my goodness, sorry. Twitter is the best place. Twitter.com. My username is Amy_geek.
Perfect. And of course, Amy can be found on StarWars.com, Insider, and on Full of Sith.
Yes. I am going to miss Full of Sith. We record on Saturdays, so lining up schedules when I'm out here is a little harder.
I'm sure.
So,
Well, we're glad we can make this work. It's always fun to speak with you, and we look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at Celebration.
I cannot wait to see you guys. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. You have an open door policy to come back and have a cup of coffee anytime.
Excellent. I could always use more coffee.
Our topic for show number 36 is Star Wars Weekends. What is the history of Star Wars Weekends? How has it grown over the years? What are some of your favorite aspects, and what would you like to see at this event? Joining us on this topic is WDW radio host Lou Mongello. Lou is a podcasting legend and a Disney expert who always has engaging things to say. In 300 words or less, be sure to send an email or an MP3 with your thoughts, comments, questions, and opinions to feedback@coffeewithkenobi.com.
I like the sound of that.
Echo 3 to Echo 7. Ano, buddy, do you read me?
I saw part of the message.
I seem to have found it.
Our first email is not necessarily an email. It's a tweet that was tweeted out to us during our little time at Indiana Comic-Con. It's from Jim Newman. He's at James Skyrunner, and he tweets out to us that he had just left and he got his picture with Carrie Fisher. So he's excited about that. Too bad we didn't run into him at the show and shake his hand and get to say hi. But we were pretty busy there too as well, just running around doing crazy stuff and having a good time. So it seems there are a lot of folks there that we didn't get a chance to meet, but hopefully Anaheim will bring lots more friends. Yeah, we definitely wanted to give him a shout out. Sorry we missed you, my friend, but we appreciate your support and look forward to meeting you in the future. Our next email, we wanted to give a shout out to our friends at the Collector's Hut. They have an amazing YouTube channel, and they review the action figures, the 3 3/4 action figures from the Rebels line, as well as the other collectibles. They've got an awesome collection, and they're just very engaging, and we love watching their stuff. So be sure to check out their link on the show notes and subscribe, because they've always got really, really fun things to show everybody. They also have collectibles from Sideshow. Those are all awesome, detailed, excellent products from Sideshow. And, when I go to purchase something, I do go online on YouTube and check out reviews and kind of get a 360 view of, what I'm going to get, because I want to know what, if it's right for my collection and right for me as a collector. And, these guys seems like they've got tons underneath their belt and they enjoy doing it. Looks like, they got tons of views and like all kinds of stuff across the board and some heavy hitting stuff here. Some, looks like, some collectibles for looks like some costuming. I don't know if that's it must be it's sideshow stuff, but
yeah,
man, incredible stuff. It's very cool, and the Rebels line, like you said, Dan, is excellent. Our next email comes from Terry King, and it's through Facebook. I have not been able to listen to the majority of your podcasts, but I am wondering if you have ever discussed the differences and similarities of fans of the original trilogies and the new ones. I'm assuming he means prequels. It seems to me you could justify clarifying 3 generations of fans. It would be an interesting conversation talking about how Star Wars fans have developed over the years with advancements in technology and communication. And that's from Terry King. He put it on our Facebook page. Thanks a lot, Terry, for sending a little message to us. And we definitely always try to keep, we've talked about before in other discussions, just different fandoms. I know we talk about our kids a lot. I mean, that's the generation that are up and coming. I call it kind of the Rebels fandom.
Yeah.
They're growing up with Rebels, but my kids have seen the original trilogy. They've seen the prequels. They've seen Clone Wars. So,
you're a good dad.
Hey, I do what I can. I love my kids, and I think they really enjoy it. So I think that's, it's something we can foster together as a family and as they grow up. But I also think too is, a conversation like this, I think we always should keep it in our mind as we talk about topics that we're passionate about. And folks who come on and we interview, they seem to bring it up a lot as well. Fans across the board. So I mean, I think a show to have it exclusively for those generation things would be really pretty interesting.
Yeah, I was so excited to read Terry's comment. I've been saving it in our Coffee with Kenobi email queue so we can share this on the show, because this is a great idea. Talking about how fandom has changed through different generations. I think to do this true justice, we need to do a coffee chat where we have somebody who's a fan from the original trilogy generation, somebody who grew up with the prequels, someone grew up with the Clone Wars, and then you could throw Rebels in there too. I think that'd be really, really cool, Terry. So I think that's definitely something we're going to consider, because I think it's got a lot of potential for a lot of excellent discussion.
And it shows a lot of, interest across the generations of how it's ebbed and flowed. And like you said, talks about technology here. And we talk about Twitter and Facebook a lot. I mean, he contacted us via Facebook. And, it's interesting because newer fans are getting online and promoting their love of Star Wars versus, message boards or, direct mail. So it's interesting to see that overlap as well.
Our next email comes from a friend of the show, Marshall Carr, and he writes, Hi, Dan. First off, I want to say congratulations. Being part of Star Wars Anaheim has got to be the best thing ever. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't jealous. We spoke several months ago about me blogging for your site. In that email, I said podcasts like yours were inspiring me to start my own podcast. I'm happy to say I've done just that. My friend Will and I have started a Star Wars, The Old Republic, Star Wars, and Geek Pop Culture podcast. We are gamers, Disney fanatics, and diehard Star Wars fans, so our show covers all of that. The show is called The Usual Podcast. We just published our 3rd episode. We also have geeky blogs on our website, theusualpodcast.com. I just want to say thanks, and if you get a chance to listen in, maybe we can talk Star Wars sometime in the future. Best of luck in Anaheim, Marshall Carr. And Marshall, thank you so much. What a wonderful thing. We're glad that we could help kind of light the fire in you, although I'm guessing, based on our conversations and interactions that we've had, you already had quite a vision going, so it would have happened regardless of us or not, because you've just got a great mind for Star Wars. And of course, I'm biased because you're an educator, so I'm naturally going to gravitate that way. But it's a really, really great podcast. I hope that we are fortunate enough to be guests on it sometime in the future, because he's got some wonderful things. Be sure to look in our show notes for theusualpodcast.com.
Our next email comes from John Morales, and he says, Hello there. I just discovered your podcast recently, and I'm loving it. I'm making my way through the past episodes, which is providing me with hours of happiness. I may suggest the name of a special roast for your show, Judland Java. Anyway, to the matter at hand. To begin, Star Wars was my favorite movie I saw in theaters when I was 6. We were in the last row of the balcony, and the woman in front of me had a beehive hairdo. So despite not being able to see much of the movie, and probably not following the plot too well, I became a fan for life. Later, it was first Betamax tape I had taped off HBO Premiere. watch to the point of knowing every word and dissecting every scene with my friends. I say this to demonstrate that Star Wars has been there at the start of big beginnings in my life. Similarly, when I met my wife in 1997 and the Star Wars Special Edition was in theater, it was the first movie we ever watched together. So Star Wars is now woven into our story as a couple. She may not be a fan like me, but she does tolerate my selective collecting. As a sometimes collector of Simpsons, she understands the impulse. However, she has asked why I need so many Obi-Wans, though she does enjoy my Funko R2-D2 on her desk that I gave to her. Anyway, keep up the great work and enjoy a cup of Junlun Java on me. Hey, John, thanks so much for sending us the email in. I love the idea of the Java. We always come up with some fun names. And of course, you had a great introduction to Star Wars in the theaters. I didn't get a chance to see it in theaters. Dan has a great story as well. I think that just sets the course for your life, for your fandom, I think, is when you first sat down to watch it. And you can remember that moment, and all the details that are intricate into that. And it provides a plot point in your life, and it keeps coming up in your life, and it has for me and it has for Dan, and it definitely is dear to our hearts. And I don't think we'll ever leave. So very cool. Yeah,
he has a similar story to Dennis Keithley about his wife and the special editions holding special place. So we love hearing things like this. And welcome, John. We hope you get a chance to listen to, enjoy our shows, and look forward to chatting with you in the future. Our next email comes from Spencer Lashavio, and he writes, "Hey guys, I really enjoyed the show with your better halves, and it got me thinking about my own experiences with Star Wars and my girlfriend. She's Korean and doesn't speak very much English, and in Korea, Star Wars is not as big of a deal as it is in the States. So I had an opportunity to introduce the films to her. We started with 4, 5, and 6, and then did 1, 2, and 3. It was really fascinating watching it with her. Of course, she knew Yoda and Darth Vader, but she had no idea of the story or anything else. She got to experience the I am your father twist in a way that I never got to experience. She thought that he was lying. Also, when I told her the first movie came out in 1977, she didn't believe me because the effects looked so great. The best was when we got to episode 3. She asked me if I had it along with Korean subtitles because she wanted to watch it. I had to initiate with the other films. However, she let me know that she was tired and would probably have to turn it off halfway through and sleep. Didn't happen. She stayed awake through the whole thing. Even though she knew Anakin became Darth Vader, she was yelling at the screen, "No, don't go there," when he goes to Palpatine's office. When it was finished, she said, "Wow, this director is amazing. He came back and finished the story he started 30 years before. He sure is." Well, Spencer, wow. Honestly, when I read his line about Anakin going to Palpatine's office and his girlfriend saying, "Don't go there," I got goosebumps reading that, because that just shows you the power of Star Wars and the magnitude of what these films mean to us. And it's just so wonderful to hear people being introduced to this. It just shows that this is more than just what we like as fans in our little circle. There are just so many people that this speaks to universally on so many levels, and it's just really, really cool.
It's very cool, and I'm so glad he gets to spend it with somebody that he loves and enjoys being with, and gets introduced it for the first time to them, because I think that's something special too. We talked about earlier, just watching it for the first time for ourselves, but then getting to rewatch it with folks that we love being around, our friends and our family, and that's special too. I think that's so cool to be able to introduce it to somebody who hasn't seen it yet and just watch it all over again. Our next email comes from Tim Riker, and he writes, "Hey gents, have just gotten around to listening to your episode with Bonnie Burton. A great interview, by the way. I'm probably late in getting my final thoughts to you about the community in Star Wars, but here it is anyway. Living in a small town outside a small city in central New York, we don't have a lot of fan-driven Star Wars community. No big conventions, no 501st, etc. That said, tying in with your last topic about social media, there's an amazing global community that is accessible in so many ways. One of the greatest aspects of community which we do see physically is in so many places is the annual Star Wars Reads Day. Reading is such a critical activity, and promoting it is a worthwhile endeavor. I remember my grandmother teaching me to read before I even went into kindergarten. I've been an avid reader ever since, leveraging the popularity of Star Wars and its magnitude of literary options for readers of all ages, abilities, and interests. Is a great way to promote Star Wars and the community. Be well, and may the Force be with you." And that's Tim Riker. Tim, I can't agree with you more, man. We love Star Wars Reads Day. as well. I know that we know that Star Wars is coming out with a lot of more literary items the next quarter. I think it's the midway through summer and then into fall, getting us ready for The Force Awakens. And a lot of that stuff is adult content and kids content. And that's the stuff that's come out for Rebels too. I've let my kids read, and they really enjoyed it. I think reading is a huge, huge part of Star Wars. It always has been, and I think it always will be. So very cool that you kind of tell some of your memories here and enjoyed some of the shows. Thanks for listening, and thanks for writing in.
Yeah, the literary merits of Star Wars Reads Day and the fact that they promote literacy in such a great way like that is something I've always loved. And agreed, yes, Tim, social media is such a great way to reach out to people, and it's certainly a way that we've been able to chat with you, and we appreciate that very much. So as Corey said, thanks for writing in. Our next email comes from our Espresso Shot host, Rob Wayne, for himself, and he writes, "Hi, Dan. Hi, Corey. I've just listened to your latest episode of Coffee with Kenobi, where you have your wives as guests, and I have to say, I think this is one of my all-time favorite episodes. In particular, I love the trivia questions you asked, and I just had to ask Rachel, my wife, the same questions. She did quite well and got 4 points. She got the first question right, and I gave her half a point for answering between Empire and Jedi for my favorite movie, and again, half a point for favorite character, as she said either Luke, which was wrong, or Yoda, which was right. She answered the Falcon correctly, and then the last question she surprised me with saying, Luke, I am your father. I was pleasantly surprised, and Rach was, British word, chuffed with the results. On the subject of relationships and the question of whether it's important that your partner has the same interests as you, I don't think it is. What is important is that your partner appreciates that you enjoy that interest and understands your interest or sometime obsession with your favorite pastime. That must go both ways. For instance, Rach has no interest in the Star Wars movies, but absolutely loves me collecting and shows an interest in this area and totally gets it when it comes to being a Star Wars fan or a geek in general. In fact, she has embraced the geek side and now she calls herself a geek. I introduced her to Comic-Cons and now she can't get enough of them. She has found her own geekdom with the likes of Torchwood, Sherlock, and The Walking Dead, although this might just be down to Norman Reedus. Rach has a love for figure skating and loves the holiday and ice shows, so I show an interest in every year go out of my way to hunt down VIP tickets and behind-the-scenes tours. I have to admit, I'm enjoying the shows and looking forward to them. So basically what I'm saying, apart from just admitting to enjoying holidays on ice, is that if you love your partner, then you get a huge sense of happiness just seeing the joy in their face when they are doing or seeing something they enjoy and vice versa. And for me, that right there is my main hobby, even over Star Wars. Well, Rob, as always, extremely well said and poignant. And yes, it's just great how when you find that special someone, you enhance one another and you see things that they like that you didn't really consider before, and you start to like and appreciate them. And you hope that that comes, of course, from within yourself in Star Wars with your partner as well. So very fun and very well said. Man, I sure wish that Rob was going to Celebration.
Me too, and I'm chuffed with this email. It is great. I love when he writes us stuff and just expresses his fandom, and especially with his wife too. Here, he talks about we had such a great time with our wives having them on, and sounds like a lot of folks that really enjoyed that. Maybe we'll have to have a follow up maybe and have them watch one of the movies or something like that and get their report. That'd be a lot of fun. But like you said, she's got her own fandom for different things, and you embrace that as well. So it's a give and take, I think, for couples. And I think that's really cool that we can connect with those people and those loved ones on that level just by our fandom and just by things we love and our love for those people. So very cool. And thanks a lot, Rob. Our next email comes from Simon Fellows, and he says, "Gents, loving the show as always. The quality continues to rise. Keep it up and enjoy Celebration. Possible, maybe negative topic for discussion is where do we see the Star Wars universe in 3 to 4 years' time? The recent Marvel superhero-style movies often get to jump the shark moment by the third episode in the series and require a pause or reboot. For example, Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Batman. Is this the return of the original trilogy timeline just a precursor to move us into a much wider Star Wars universe where offshoots are sole product? Are we moving into a saturated model with Star Wars with movies, TV series, books, etc., overwhelming us? Hard to think so because we all love it so much, but there's a tipping point. We would rather be served with a much more moderate rollout of Star Wars with longevity being the goal. I'm cautious as being a big Lord of the Rings fan. I've struggled to get through the recent films and was seeing them more out of obligation than joy. And that's from Simon Fellows. Simon, this is an interesting topic too, because I'm kind of the mind that superhero movies are a little oversaturated at the moment because it's such at the forefront, and they're doing so well. They're making so much money. I think money's a big thing here, but I think in 3 to 4 years, Star Wars will still be big. And as this new movie is coming out, like we talked about, 2015 is a huge year for film industry. We have multiple, prequels and sequels. We have Terminator, we have James Bond, we have Mission Impossible, we've got Batman and Superman, we've got all these great big banner films. And Annie was last year, dude. It's the last year. But I know what you're talking about. But I think we have such big banner films this year, and the biggest one that I'd say the collective of geekdom is excited about is Star Wars, because it's been 30 years for our film to come out, and we've been wanting this for so long, and we never know it was going to happen or not. And in 3 and 4 years, we'll be saturated. Maybe it will, but I think you gotta kind of take it as it comes, because maybe someday it'll be gone and never be around again. So.
Right.
And we can enjoy this stuff. And it's funny because, when the prequels came out, everybody was kind of like hating on it a little bit and, oh, we don't like this. But that had been 30 years after the original trilogy had come out. But by now, we're past that moment. We love the prequels and we, embrace that stuff. So as much as we love and hate this stuff, I think as fans, we can consider it as, something good. I think it's something to definitely talk about. What do you think, Dan?
Well, I mean, you're talking about 16 years between Return of the Jedi and Phantom Menace, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, 16 years.
Was it 16 years?
Well, 83 was Return of the
Menace
Jedi, and Phantom Menace came out in 99.
Yeah.
Yep. So, one of the Simon's things that he brought up that I really wanted to address, and he's got some great points, of course, is that are we moving to a saturation model, and will we be better served with a more moderate rollout of Star Wars? I can see where there would be a concern. Amy talked about that on our Indiana Comic-Con show. I think for me, this is a different world than the world of the first 3 films, or even the last 3. We're just much more of an instant gratification society. Look at artists when they make albums. There's not those long 2 and 3, 4 years between albums like there used to be with different things. And people put out stuff really quickly because we're just very much consumers, literally consumers of entertainment. So I don't think it's going to be oversaturation. I think there's a lot out there, and I can see where that could over Star Wars people. But you have the option of disengaging a little bit. I mean, I think like Avengers 2 is coming out, and I'm crazy excited for it. But I don't know if I'm as excited as I was when the first one came out. And I don't know if that's because I'm oversaturated with Marvel, or is it because I'm more into Star Wars? Or is it really because I know this is going to be a darker film and I'm not really in a place where I want to see darker stuff, because I just, I feel like we do that a lot, which is why I like Star Wars so much, because there's so much optimism and hope. So, that being said, I'm going to see Avengers 2 the first day, of course.
Let me ask you this, Dan.
Do you know what I mean, though?
I completely know what you mean. And I was going to say to the point that, Avengers 2, yeah, I'm excited too, but, I was going to ask you, if you had to choose a film not to see, like to ever see this year, that you're excited about, one that actually you're generally like, oh, I'm going to see that in theaters and opening day, and if there's one that you could pick that you like, was not able to see, what would it be?
Can I say Godzilla from last year, or
no, this year, 2015?
Pacific Rim.
Those are 2 great movies.
Are they?
2015, my friend.
One that I want to see, but I just won't see.
No, one that you want to see, but for some reason, you can't see it.
Well, it's definitely not going to be Avengers. I've got to see that. Obviously, it's not Star Wars. It's not even an option.
Okay. Batman, Superman.
That's next year.
That's this year. Summer this year.
No, is it?
Nope, it's this year.
Is that a guarantee? It's not this year.
All right, I bet you a trading card.
All right, I'll take care of.
It's in July, my friend.
Of 2016.
2015.
No, it isn't.
Guaranteed.
I can't wait to get the new Hera card. All right, let's look it up, friends, while we're on the line here. Doo-doo-doo. You sure?
Yeah, dude. I'm trying to think which card I want.
Oh, you're gonna have to keep thinking.
Let's see, March 2016.
I told you.
Dang it. What am I thinking then?
I'll take Hera.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the reason I know that is because, well, I'm a pop culture consumer. Just kidding.
Apparently, I got oversaturated and got excited. I jumped the shark. Yeah.
Now, they originally was 2015, and then I think Warner Brothers got a little like, and
got
they
a little scared. Yeah,
now,
they
now it's a
backed out.
tentpole for next year, and they don't have to compete with a brand new Star Wars or with the Avengers, which they probably were more worried about because it's more along the lines of their same audience. Although everyone would see both, let's be honest.
Right.
What's your answer for the movie?
So I guess my thought, my context of that question is, if somebody said you could only watch Star Wars or only watch Avengers 2 this year, I would pick not watching Avengers 2 because, like you said, we already had an Avengers movie. We kind of know how it's going to go. We've seen all these characters before, and it's and not to say we haven't had a Star Wars movie for a long time, but I'm just my thing is, like you said, the oversaturation of films, of characters, of comic book stuff, it does get to you a little bit. And
it does, but these won't do that because it's different characters all the time.
Well, it's brand new.
I mean, they're going to be similar, but they're going to have new ones too. So I think that's one of the reasons why we like Rebels so much. That's that Star Wars flair,
yes.
But brand new characters. So see, look, Simon, you're generating a lot of awesome conversation. We appreciate your email and love what you have to say. Our next email comes from Chris Lingard, and he writes, when listening to Rebels reactions, Gathering Forces, I had an epiphany. When Justin was talking about Palpatine relishing in the moment, power, unlimited power, it got me thinking about how the dark side works. Say the dark side is like a pyramid scheme. You have the top guy, and depending on how many and how powerful in his case, he can siphon off the dark side power from his minions beneath him. Just one of those weird and strange thoughts that pop into my mind on a regular basis. You guys are great as usual. Thanks for your time. Well, thanks, Chris. That was very kind of you. Corey, what do you think about that dark side pyramid scheme?
I like this idea because it's like, if you want to be a Dark Lord, just get 5 of your friends to be a Dark Lord too, and that's the way it works.
But there's only 2.
There's only 2. But I see what he says. Obviously the Emperor sits at the top, and he's drawing this energy turning like a faucet, on and off, and drawing from them. I don't know if it's stealing or if it's more of just increasing his power. I like this idea. I think it's kind of cool. It's something I haven't thought of, but I think as geeks and as fans, we constantly have this stuff pop up into our mind. Very cool idea. What do you think?
Well, I think it's neat. I mean, the dark side is very much parasitic in a way because they siphon off of the universe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I like that Chris sent this in. And when you have random thoughts or want to generate a discussion, hear what we have to say, or see what other fans have to say, send us an email or, like Chris did, or write something on Facebook or Twitter, and we'll chat about it because this is what it's all about.
Our next email comes from Robert Coleman, and he says, watch seasons 1 through 5 of Clone Wars, hoping you can tell me what else I'm missing. Heard there's a season 6 and some other episodes. Thanks, Robert Coleman. Robert, there's 1 through 5. Season 6 is the final season.
Yeah, Netflix. It's on Netflix exclusive, but it's also on DVD now.
Oh, it is? Okay, you're right. Yeah. It is. And then online there is also, I want to say some animations. Is it animations of episodes from, I don't think it's season 7. Is that right? They were
there's
released,
animatics.
Animatics, yeah. They're not season 7 though, are they? They considered season 6?
I don't know. I think it was just part of stuff that they had ready.
It was just like they wanted to put it out. Also, considering Clone Wars, they had the Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir comic series, which debuted through Dark Horse Comics. So if you're looking to catch up on Darth Maul and see where he kind of ends up, check those out. As far as Clone Wars, that's kind of where it kind of cuts off there a little bit. I don't think they have any more plans for anything else. But who knows? Maybe we'll hear more something from Star Wars Anaheim, Celebration Anaheim, and on the stage with Dave. So we never know.
If you would like to respond to our question of the show, have a comment, or just want to say hello, send us an email or MP3 at feedback@coffeewithkenobi.com. Or if you have a specific question or comment for either of us individually, email us at danz@coffeewithkenobi.com or coryc@coffeewithkenobi.com, or visit us at coffeewithkenobi.com and click on the Contact Us section, or comment on one of the stories featured on the site. If you enjoy the show, please write a review in iTunes or Stitcher. You can also like the show on Facebook at facebook.com/coffeewithkenobi, as well as keep up to date at our Twitter feed at Coffee with Kenobi. You can also find us on Tumblr at coffeewithkenobi.tumblr.com. If you enjoy the jazz music, the album is Eye to Eye by Steve Torok.
Give the evacuation code signal.
That's it for show number 35 of Coffee with Kenobi. A big thank you to Amy Radcliffe for sharing a cup of coffee with us and discussing Celebration Anaheim. Be sure to follow her on Twitter at Amy_Geek to see what she's working on, as well as her latest thoughts, podcasts, and opinions.
Thanks to Rob the Bearded Trio, our media specialist Lisa, Neil Clyde, Greg Fields, and to everyone who contributed to this show, and to all of you out there who listen to and email Coffee with Kenobi each and every week. Don't forget to send us your comments, questions, and opinions on the topic for show number 35, Star Wars Weekends.
This is the podcast you're looking for.
This podcast is not endorsed by the Walt Disney Company or Lucasfilm Limited. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. The official Star Wars website can be found at www.starwars.com. Star Wars, all names, sounds, and any other Star Wars-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Disney and their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of Coffee with Kenobi unless otherwise indicated.
There's no one here.